Hello, hello,
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, guests, for waiting through my really long intro, but I like it. It sets my mood. I like it.
So
It is
mellow.
very mellow, and I just like the music. I'm gonna have to do something with it to cut it back a little bit because it is very long. But well, welcome Peter, welcome Jen, welcome Suzanne the Salty. I like it, Suzanne the Salty. It's very apropos. Erin won't be joining us tonight. She's working another double, and Mrs. Cassandra will be here later on if she can. So far, it's going to be the four of us, but I think we can do okay with anything that comes up. I think you guys could tackle anything, actually, the three of you. Well,
I'm sure Peter's used to tackling things that come up.
yeah.
I'll just be quiet, Jen, and do as I'm told, like
Mhm.
always.
I tell you, Suzanne, Peter earned his permanent spot on the Naked Bear Squads by handling 9 women and himself at once.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
We all enjoyed it very much.
everyone sang his praises for weeks about that. So he is he can handle it. Whatever happens, he gives it right back to us.
He's the token man. Don't worry about him too much.
Why is that? I wouldn't say token. I would say he is the man. He is like the man. Yeah.
Look, let's be honest, Claire. It all comes down to I have the knack of knowing when to just be quiet and realise that the women overpower me and my opinion, although it may be wanted and wanted to be heard. Sometimes there's those times where a man should be seen and not heard because his opinion just isn't wanted.
I thought, I can appreciate that. I don't know if it's not wanted. I mean, because I don't think there's a single conversation that we've had on Mayhem where the balance of having your voice in here was not only beneficial, but, well considered and thoughtful. And it's nice. It's nice to hear the other side of everything. Just like 2 females having a conversation. It's nice to hear the other side of anything. And I appreciate a man's perspective. Although, like, often you are like one of the most decent, like, intelligent, funny ones. So it's really hard. Like, we can't like put those men tests to you because you're always going to come out good. Like we can't even man bash with you around.
I do.
Well, you do a damn good job. That's why you're the man for Mayhem. It's gonna be my new hashtag next week. Look out, Peter. I'm gonna be embarrassing the fuck out of you on Twitter next week.
Claire's man.
No. There's Mayhem's man, not Claire's man. Mayhem's man. Let's not start that. You know, Jen, they run with that stuff. Don't start that stuff.
They do.
They do.
We'll be starting. We'll be starting more tattletale in the back now.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's just bad enough. I'm living in a basement in Australia. My accent is imported from somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't know what it is this week. I don't know where it came from.
You're living in a basement in Australia? The one that I get all the time is, you are not in Costa Rica. You're visiting hotels in Costa Rica every now and then. And it's like,
that's right.
Are you kidding me?
That's right. Because they know, right, Suzanne?
Hotel.
Because they know, right?
Doing the laundry and doing the floor and all that crap. I wouldn't do that.
It's like, because they actually know. What really cracks me up is they actually think there's something to this. Like, they actually know something.
Yeah.
Like it's hysterical. It's like, oh gosh, did they get into it? They're pulling up clips and like, oh, she said this, oh, she said that. I'm like, oh my God. Well, have at it,
it's the
people.
same with that sort of people, isn't it? It always is that they think they know something about you or about whatever it is. They do the same thing with organizations. We know exactly what this organization is. Have you actually researched it? Do you actually know what the fuck it is you're talking about? Because I very much doubt it listening to you talk.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It happens mostly to people that don't want to engage in stuff, like because it doesn't have anything. So they make up stuff about you because you won't actually come out with like everything, like, every little detail about you. So the less I talk about stuff, the more they make stuff up,
The same thing happens if you won't put an opinion out that agrees with them over something. So that's the one where you really get torn down a notch. You didn't agree with me, so you must be a horrible person.
That's it.
Really? That's not how that works at all.
Yeah, you just stepped right on one of my buttons for this week because
Sorry.
That's where Mayhem's gonna go. No, it's a button. It's like I have an issue. It's a button. Like when somebody comes at you, like you liked that person's tweet, you must agree with every goddamn thing they've said in the whole entire light, and they're a shit person. Like, how dare you? How dare you like that person's tweet? That makes you a horrible person. That makes you complicit. That makes you agree with every damn thing that ever came out of their mouth. I'm like, really? Who? What tweet? Like, what?
YouTubers, we get it all the time, though, Clay, because you have a guest on, and you find these small group of people, they hate that person, and then all of a sudden you're associated with everything that person says or thinks, which is fucking ridiculous.
I just had that.
It goes one level beyond that. You're not just you don't just support, but you're also guilty of everything that they've done in their life.
Exactly. And how could you even talk to them? And I'm like, okay, excuse me, I am going to have the damn conversation. Hello, got my hand. I know I'm an avatar and you can't see people, but for those of you in the chat and over you in the replay, both hands straight up in the air. Yes, hello, fucking adult here. Of course I'm going to have the goddamn conversation. Who wouldn't? Like, what does that say about you when you won't have the conversation? When your friends aren't allowed to make mistakes? When you can't have connections with normal individuals just because they disagree with you? That's all bullshit. That's some bullshit. Like, don't put that standard on me that you can't toe. That's okay. Sorry. I'm done.
No, I totally agree, especially this week after somebody took screen caps of my live chat because I was nice to somebody they didn't like.
Exactly. Like, I just retweeted one of Steve's things. He's going to be trying to do a peacekeeper with some of the stuff that's going on around here. And he wants to have a conversation. Do you know somebody just hit that tag and said, are you still watching Steve? He's a rape apologist. So I'm like, get the hell off my thread. What the heck is that? Like, you're still on that? He had a conversation, people. He had a conversation. Like, oh, don't hit me. Don't hit me with that shit. I just asked them to kindly leave my thread, and they said they would because they don't want to see the content of rape apologists. And I'm like, okay, I don't do that. So like, whatever, you and your attitude, right out there. Go on.
Just a question for the three of you, I suppose, as someone that doesn't really have a channel. Now, isn't it the responsibility of the host, the person that's running the channel, when someone comes in, you act polite, you treat them like a person, you say hello if they say hello to you. Isn't that part of being a proper human being? Part of the human race?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Unless there's some
As a
kind of shit
host, if you
weasel.
disagree, sorry, Suzanne, go.
Sorry. I'm done.
Nope.
Well, you might have to repeat because I'm not sure anyone heard you.
Okay,
Yeah, repeat that.
I'm sorry. I said something about that's the polite thing to do unless you're a shit weasel, like some people are.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, it's the polite thing to do to let them have their say because like they're on your channel and you invited them there to talk. You didn't invite them there and give them a list of things they couldn't say or couldn't do. Not unless you're that kind of channel, which I know
yeah.
they exist, but I'm not that kind of channel.
In some ways, Claire, I compare it to customer relations in any type of workplace.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to agree with the customer when they walk in the place and tell you that, oh, there's something wrong with the motor, it's making a funny sound. Yeah, it's half your transmission's falling out from underneath your car. It's got nothing to do with the motor. Oh, no, the sound's coming from the motor. I know. I drove it. Yeah, but I'm the expert and you don't know nothing about cars. You're still polite to the customer and say,
Exactly.
oh, not a problem, ma'am. I'll look at that right now for you. I'll stick it up on the ramps. I'll have a look. You don't disrespect them just because you don't agree with them. You still treat them like human beings.
This is true. And if you were in customer relations, even when you think it's a different problem, you address why they think it's that and then explain to them why you think it's something else, just so you're not embarrassing them, humiliating them, whatever. You want them to communicate with you what's going on with the car, right? The noises they hear, what it's doing. You don't shut down the conversation and say, nope, that's not it, and don't, you don't know what you're talking about, so don't, like, you must be a car offender, don't talk to me.
Even if it comes to the point, go, oh, look, ma'am, I understand why you would think that because the vibrations from the transmissions going up into the engine, that's what's making the sound. Explain to them why they may have been mistaken about their belief. But you don't need to be offensive. You don't need to attack them just because they're wrong.
This is true. This is true because otherwise that's not really customer relations, right? You're not going to have a customer for very long if you don't make them feel heard. Just like anything, you're not going to have a relationship for very long if you don't allow the other person to be heard. You can't have a personal relationship, a friend relationship, a collaborative, an employee relationship, any of these things, if the other person stops feeling heard. And that's probably my biggest issue lately with everything that's been going on for more than a month or so around this place. People are getting slammed no matter what they do. It's almost like a my way or the highway kind of thing. And that just makes me cranky. That just makes me ornery. It makes me a really testy bear. People are pushing their opinions and what I should be doing, what I should be saying, how I should be feeling. Can somebody explain to me how the fuck they know that? Are they me? Yeah, like, where does that entitlement come from on individuals? It's tribalism. It's crowds. Somebody starts pushing an agenda and everybody feels good to have something to say. And I always stay away from that, even when they're right. And let's be clear, I'm not saying they're wrong. They could be right on the issue. Okay? They can have their opinion on the issue and express it. But when you start cramming it down people's throats and tell them they have to do this or they have to feel that or this, if I don't do this, that means that. When it gets to that point, I'm out. I'm really glad I didn't engage because that's dangerous to me. That is seriously dangerous when it gets to that point where you're trying to convince people that they have to feel a certain way, even if they slightly do, but they have to act in a certain manner or they're not supporting of an agenda or something that's going on. And it's not respectful to individuals at all. But
Well, I was
100%.
reading earlier about the Milgram experiment, and it almost sounds like some of what you're saying is the whole authoritarian thing that people will do, and then
Oh,
they'll.
was that the one with the shocking people in the other room?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we describe the experiment for anybody who hasn't heard about it?
Yeah, one of you ladies go right ahead. But first, I want to put up this comment because we have to go ahead and cancel. We have to cancel Digital Demonic Davros because I talk to Claire, who talks to Cheshire, who talks to Steve. You're out. The triple D's are not going to save you. You're out because apparently you have committed the trifecta sin right there. You did it, like right there, like you're done. Like they're never going to talk to you again. I don't know what. But yep, no, Peter just fired you.
Jay as well, which means he confronts the BBC, which
oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's just wrong.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the other thing, like because like you travel in different circles and you have different communities, and I love that. I love that about my channel. I love that about all my relationships with people I collab with. Suzanne, we've known each other throughout this community for quite a while, right? You see a lot of different people in my chats or coming to my content and stuff. I don't play in one area. Like how dare they try to tell me I'm one thing? Like I don't even fit well if you try to call me the anti-community because yes, I did mod a lot of those channels and I supported them, but that's not all I did. It's not all
Bingo.
Bingo. It's not
the hard thing too with doing the channels is when you do the drama, everybody rushes in. You get monster hits, monster comments, but you can only maintain that outrage for a week maybe before you're like, I gotta do something else. This is just stupid. We've gone into stupid territory.
But let's one of you tell the people that may not know for replay or in the chat about the Milgram.
Maybe she should because my memory is probably not great on it.
It was an experiment they did after World War II, but before they started prosecuting all the Nazis during the Nuremberg trial. They were trying to figure out if people could be manipulated easily into doing things that were morally reprehensible. So they were setting it up to seem like they had to shock somebody. And what was it? They were telling them they had to shock this person. When they pressed the button to shock them, they had an actor who was wired up, and they would scream and act like they were being electrocuted and stuff. And the entire experiment was to see how quickly and how quickly someone would abandon their core morality and follow the authoritarianism and rules of someone else and do something that was morally reprehensible.
Yeah. There was no guns to the heads of these people who were part of the things that it was just like a doctor with a stethoscope and a white coat and everything. This is a scientific experiment. No, you've got to do this because we need to know the answers to it. And,
the pressure of being a doctor, the influence, like this is what, a lot of groups have that. There's always somebody in control, a friend you want to keep in touch with, a family member, right? It's always some kind of pressure like that.
There was no negative aspect. The people could refuse to do this, but because it was an authoritarian figure standing there telling them they needed to do this, we need these results. 90% of the participants kept pressing that button until the doctor had told them that it had been the dial for pain had been turned up all the way and it would kill the person on the other side. Most of the people of the experiment kept doing it. A handful of people stood up and said no. And this has been repeated numerous times, like people being prepared to help other people in situations where they've done experiments in crowded situations where somebody is being put upon by other people. Most people will sit with the crowd and not do anything to protect somebody else, even if there is no threat to them in protecting the other person, because we've learned that that aspect of self-preservation, and it comes to the same sort of thing with the aspect of the authoritarian figure there telling us to do something. In this case, it's a reverse of that, where it's a self-preservation, and the authoritarianism is the the bad situation that's happening to other people, and we'd rather not speak out or do anything about it. And those are the aspects of human nature that allow atrocities like what happened with the Nazis in World War II and other things to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And the Lone Wanderer Bunker also said, first of all, there's a comment above it that says, I'm a big fan of your work, Suzanne, to you, that they are a big fan. And then they said that the patients had to read the words without making a mistake. If they did, they were shocked, yes, and that many people did refuse. That I hear, that some people did have issue. I also, is it true? I mean, I think I read that a lot of people needed therapy after this experiment.
yes,
there was a lot of pushback. A lot of pushback on Milgram for how mentally abusive this experiment was, and
this was that time in the
torture. It was torture. It was torture.
Well, these were the kind of psychological experiments that were done in the 50s and 60s to try and understand human nature, because there was such a pushback after what had happened in the Second World War that they wanted to understand people, and what the psychiatric community did to people in that time to try and understand what was horrific.
Torture. It was
torture. It was what made them come up with these codes of conduct and morality panels for universities, so that if you're going to put up doing an experiment, you have to go to the morality panel to get approval to do your experiment first, because there was a case. Yeah, who was it? Was it Mythbusters? One of the groups, one of them, actually wanted to do a physical representation of the
experiment. I think it was Mythbusters.
The trolley hypothesis. You know, the one where most people see what would actually happen if you gave people the choice. If you pull the lever, you kill one person. If you don't, it kills 5.
That this is wrong.
They actually set that up as an experiment to actually do, and they had to ship this experiment around to 5 different universities before they had one panel that was prepared, one university that was prepared to back this. And I can't even imagine. They had a team of psychiatrists there and counselors there to help deal with the people who came out of the experiment, and they had to let the people know up front that before they would sign up to it, that there could be psychological repercussions from doing this experiment, because there was no other way they could get it past the ethics tribunal. Well, not morality, ethics tribunal. And they did this experiment, and they actually found out that most people will panic and not pull the switch, and they'll let the 5 people die, because humans just break down in those situations. We can't.
I can't even imagine, trying to choose. It's just, oh my God, I can't.
It is quite dreadful. But this was a more recent experiment, but it was done really in controlled environments. And afterwards, they had to show the people, no, there was not really a trolley there. This was all cameras. You were not making a real choice on people's life. Nobody is dead. And they had counselors there to counsel people afterwards and everything. But this was as close as they got to doing the horrific things that they did in the past, and they were really cautious about how they did it. But one of the other experiments that was done in that time was also they were wondering how society fell into the groups of what they did. And one of the experiments they did was with high school students, where they split the high school students up into reds and blues. And the authority figures, in this case, a teacher who was part of the thing, told them that reds were the most important of all these people and blues were inferior. And that was the way the rules were going to be. And by the end of a week of doing this, the blues had become servants to the reds.
Oh, wow.
And reds were actually putting. They even got down to there was acts of violence being persecuted onto the blues by the reds, because they had this thing in their heads that they were better, and they knew they were in the middle of an experiment, but they still did this, and there was abuse and stuff like that. They had to cancel the experiment because it got so rough and dreadful.
That's very similar to the prisoners and the enforcers experiment that they did, isn't it?
Yes, it was the same thing. Yeah.
Darvo said in that other one they changed it to 5 people because they were doing it with a pregnant person. Can you imagine? That would be like oh my God, I can't even mentally wrap my brain around that kind of this just mental torture. And I don't want to know about human behavior if I have to do that to somebody, like torture somebody. We're getting canceled because there's no Oh, Davros is disappointed. I'm going to get canceled. Well, that means my Friday and Saturday nights are going to be free. I don't know.
But
What can
it
I-
just
what
goes
can I
to
do?
show how susceptible we are to mob mentality, and
Mhm.
how easy it is for us to follow people we assume as authoritarian figures.
Okay.
And it is really hard to step away from the mob and be an
Mhm.
individual, because you will
Oh.
be persecuted for it, and it's hard to go against the authority because the authority is backed by the mob.
I do, I'm not even saying anything about the people that are like, joining together to do this and all. I know they have reasons and very strong convictions, and most of them are good people. Individually, taken on a one-on-one basis, they are reasonable, intelligent. Some of them I know, that are doing, and saying some things that to me are quite offensive. But that doesn't mean they're unreasonable people, or that I don't think that they have a right to say what they have to say. I just think if they took a step back and saw some of the damage or the results that can happen, that they wouldn't be doing it. That they would see that it's getting a little out of control. That's all. It just gets hard when they refuse, and they want to put labels on you because you don't want to join in. It's a line I don't want to cross. And the more you stick to your guns, the worse it gets. The less you say, the more they say for you, unfortunately. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be shocking people. Like, this experiment is the thing. Like, to prove that somebody else is wrong, I don't want to go out there and put a shock collar on anybody and do it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a price too much to pay for me personally. Okay, for me personally, it's not something I am willing to do. I don't want. I don't want to lose my skin over it. I don't want to. I want to say it's wrong. Offer support to anybody who has been wronged personally, and I mean personally, to the person it actually happened to. But everybody else who just has opinion about it, I don't know your conversation, and you really shouldn't be coming at me for anything because it's not your damn business, really. Period.
Well, I will say one thing about all this. Because of some of the things and some of the group mentalities we're seeing on Twitter, I've actually been able to write and sell a couple of articles under one of my non-diplomas that I write under about group mentality.
And being reasonable, I'm sure.
Toxicity of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a toxicity, see, because it does. And then we're not trying to hurt anybody by talking about the subject. I understand how emotional and I understand how convicted people can feel. And I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm not saying
Yeah.
you shouldn't. I'm just saying sometimes things get out of control, especially when you get a lot of people involved in it. And then there's sides. Like, when did we go back to, like, I gave up red team, blue team when I was, in grade school. Like, we didn't do that. Like,
I think one of the most important points that that needs to be accepted and understood by many people, that you have a right to your belief. You've got a right to how you feel, but that doesn't justify why you feel that way, and it doesn't necessarily make you right. You you have you have the right to feel any way you want over a situation,
mm-hmm.
but does not make your feelings or anything like that right for the situation. And I think that some people need to realise this, that just because that's your belief, it doesn't necessarily make it right for everyone else, and it doesn't necessarily make it right full stop.
And it also doesn't give you the right to act on your personal belief if the way you act on it hurts somebody else in the process. Because
Look,
as soon as you use your personal belief to hurt others, then you're an asshole, in my opinion.
I'll just like to point out at this stage that, we've all experienced those, shall we say, those people that are working for their particular religion that may come and knock on your door and offer you some type of a religious text. And generally speaking, if you're polite to them and say, "Look, thank you very much, but I'm just not interested," maybe say if it's for someone that needs it, they will quite happily go off on their merry way and do their own thing for the rest of the day and not bother you until next time. You don't need to open the door and let the bull mastiff out at them, or yell and scream at them about their religion. You can be polite and say no. You can be polite and disagree with them. It doesn't make you right. It doesn't make them right. They're just trying to do what they think is right. And you've got to respect that.
Yeah,
I those things. I like it when they show the crap tracks. I've got a whole stack of them that I collect. They're all really interesting.
Wait, the different ones, you mean you collect them, Suzanne? Yeah,
I do. I collect chick tracks, the little cartoon ones. They're pretty crazy.
Oh wow, I didn't
Very
know that.
crazy.
That's pretty cool. Oh, I don't know too much about them, but they do say it does sound hysterical. Don't. Oh, okay. I think that the Lone Warrior must have had an experience with one because they said the door knockers don't come anymore. They don't want to play with the Lone Wanderer. Not since that last time, sad face. Yeah. I think I did have this conversation last night, didn't we, Jen? About the naked in the bedroom.
I was going to say the instant way to stop them from coming back is to either A, answer the door naked, get your partner to answer the door naked.
That works for me. Yep.
We're wrapped up in a sheet with a lot exposed but nothing seen. And my ex actually used the line of, "Look, I'm a little bit busy. Do you mind waiting 5 minutes just while I finish having sex with my boyfriend?" And with that comment, they never came back ever again. So there's multiple ways of, shall we say, messing with their heads and also getting the result that you want.
We just had someone. I used to have to keep a bathrobe right at the front door, a nice big heavy one, because in our house, as naked as if you're comfortable, as soon as my one partner came home, he would want to take everything off immediately. He did not like to walk around with clothes, but would answer the door. So it works for, JWs coming to sell us. So you just open the door wide and just like, "Hello, how can I help you?" And don't never coming back again. But for the mailman and everyone, I would prefer that they put a robe on. I do want to get my packages, and stuff like that. So that was the compromise. That if somebody was trying to sell us something, or it was for religious pamphlets, they were allowed to answer the door naked. As long as there weren't any children around. Yeah.
We all know if you answer the door to the mailman naked, you definitely get a large package.
Oh.
It wasn't me, it was my partner, Peter. But yes, this is why I didn't answer the door. Yeah, it wasn't my job. I don't answer the door. Yeah, I don't have that job. Yeah. Nope. Don't want any mail order packages, so to speak. I don't want them coming in from other places. So yeah. Hello, Christola. Welcome. All right, what is this? Long story short, this is the Long Wanderer's bunker story. Long story short, I told them I was an atheist, and they asked me to pray to God and told me that if I didn't believe in God, then it would be okay to pray. I roared with laughter, and then I wished them well. Wait a minute, you told them you're an atheist, which you don't believe in God, so they said, "Okay, so go pray to God." Wait a minute, that's the biggest biggest contrary statement I've ever, wow, that's pretty good. That was pretty good. I'm sorry. It would be okay to pray, and so you just left and wished them well. I guess that's all you can do when they're being a little bit of unrealistic about it. Christola, we've been on for about 40 minutes or so. We moved the time. I started an hour earlier, so I'm sorry you didn't get a notification. I got one as soon as I popped on live.
They're going to be even more confused next week, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I guess I should announce that while I still have some people in the chat, and maybe they're tuning in on the replay. But Mayhem's moving. We are packing up, everybody. We don't have much to pack because nobody wears clothes or anything around here. We just got to put them all in the car. Yeah, we got to move them all over to Fridays from now on, and we're doing that so that some of our panel can attend more often. We've had some scheduling conflicts. I'll be honest with you, we kind of miss our friend Aaron, who's been pulling double shifts. Hey, Aaron, I'm talking about you. Yes, I am. Shout out to Aaron's channel, EKC People Suck. And if you guys seen her on panel before, she's funny as fuck. She's very smart, just like the rest of the panel, but we miss her, and it would be easier on Fridays. It'll be easier for a lot of us on Fridays. It's going to be easier for me. It's going to be easier for some others, and it's going to be easier for guests. Almost all of my guests said that Saturdays are hard, and if I could only do it on the end of the week, they could probably be here. So I listen. I'm going to do it at the end of the week. Where did you
And
go?
you get a warm-up show to go with it too, Claire.
Yeah, so let me tell you even the best part. So my new Fridays are going to be, before I go to bed, going over to Australia. Yeah, I travel over there sometimes. I go and stream in Australia, over there at Hereticals, very early in the morning on Fridays, most likely before I go to bed. And we'll be over there. Hello, Mrs. Cassandra. We were just talking about scheduling changes. So I stream in the morning, then I'm going to go to bed. Then I'm going to get up, okay, do some stuff, and then we're going to have Jen on Polymathic. She does the Tits Out stream at about 9 o'clock or so, right? 8, 9 o'clock, I think, most nights. And it's also a conversational type stream where we call it Tits Out. One, because the naked avatars, and Jen does actually sit there naked, but you can't see anything. But, you know.
You can see me, and I am actually naked.
Yeah, and you know, other people have been there naked too, like Jade and Chesh and everything, and they sit there, and we call it that, but it's mostly an emotional thing. It's mostly an atmosphere thing, meaning tits out, meaning we're going to talk about anything, whatever happens. Like we're just putting it out there, so to speak, and so it's a very free stream, and the chat is very involved, you know, and can throw topics at us. It's kind of fun. I like doing it. Then we're going to move it over here to Mayhem at 11 o'clock on Fridays, so it'll be kind of busy. It's going to be Eastern Standard Time. What time is that in, okay, Australians, help me. I know for Suzanne, she's an hour behind me, so Central Time is going to be 10 p.m., okay? And I also know that California PST would be 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock, right? You know, and so, you know, Mrs. Cassandra will be coming a little later based on her time schedule, but we're still going to go for an hour or two. But what time is that in Australia?
For me, mine starts at 10, and then we start at midday.
Okay.
Mayhem on
So
Saturday, so it's still Saturday for me. So it's a little bit later for Peter.
In New Zealand, it's still going to be Saturday too. So it's still going to be Saturday for some people, but it was Sunday, right, Peter? Were you, like, I would call it Mayhem, Midnight Mayhem Saturday, but it would be Sunday afternoon for you in most cases, right?
That's correct, but that's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah. I wonder, maybe I should do it like once in a while. I'm going to switch up and try to figure out what it's like to be on the other side of the world, naked in the middle of the day doing a Mayhem stream.
10 p.m. Eastern.
We'll do a midday Mayhem.
Yeah, just to switch it around for you guys, yeah.
Did you say
That
10
would
p.m.
work.
Eastern, Claire?
No, I said 11. 11?
11
Like,
for Claire's,
yeah.
11
9 for mine.
Mm-hmm.
So my show will go for about an hour and a half beforehand. We'll have about a half-hour break. Hopefully have a half-hour break, because yesterday we couldn't shut up.
No, we just kept going on and on. It was good.
If it gets like that, we will transition directly. We will just say, hey, we're ending here, and we're over on Claire's. If we push a bit late. But hopefully try and get about a half-hour break between the two shows. And, you know, it's a good chance for anybody who loves Mayhem, loves what happens here. If you want to get your voice out and throw some topics at us, we may cover them again in Mayhem if we don't get through them.
Right.
Well, isn't that the point?
It's one way to throw ideas at us. So.
Yeah,
but the point of having your tits out when you gotta throw your tops at you. Oh, you said topics,
right.
Not tops.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, it's true. They could throw topics. Yes, it's good. You need to go to that stream. Yes, we need to get you up on there. You definitely need to be coming over there and getting up on piano, because it's just your kind of thing. And you don't have to. You already have your semi-naked avatar. You don't have to like go on screen. But everyone's pretty kind to me about that, not wanting to go on camera, and it's fun, because
there's no requirement to be naked in the Tits Out stream. I just do it because
I was going to do it. I did. I'm going to tell them what I was going to do. Okay, Jen, like this. All right, don't judge me. All right, go ahead, judge me, because you're going to do it anyway. So go ahead. Who am I to tell you what to do? Anyway, So she was saying we're going to do tits out, and I feel funny because I'm just an avatar, and I'm an avatar over here on Mayhem, so it's nothing special if I show up as a naked avatar anywhere. It's like they expect it, like it's no big deal. So I had this great cleavage picture, like just the cleavage, just the cleavage, and I was going to fill the circle with it, and I lost my damn USB drive last night. I couldn't upload it, and I couldn't. So I was spent like a half hour trying to get a new one, and I couldn't get it to fit. I couldn't get it to fit in the circle.
The moral of the story is cleavage does not fit on an avatar.
Yes, the moral of the story. Yeah, those double GGs don't fit in that little square for StreamYards. They just don't do
I
it.
thought you were saying you're too tight for it. Okay.
No, and then the problem was because it was just cleavage and the circle was so small, and I was just doing the cleavage that it ended up looking like a butt. It was supposed to be tits. So I'm so like, how could they tell if this is a butt or tits? Like you can't. So because never mind.
That could be a good thing.
Yeah, I know you would like that, Peter. You know what? When the USB comes back up,
pretend he's getting tits out.
I could have did that. I could have did that because that was the actual only picture I had on the laptop was the ass picture, but I wasn't really gonna do that.
You just called it chest bum.
No, I had used it to make a greeting card for somebody who was being a real ass. Yeah, I'm that kind of pedant. Yeah, I did. I'm the one who sends you the DM that has a picture of my ass that says if you're going to be that kind of fucking asshole, at least make it cute like mine. Yeah, I did that. I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I did. Confessions of a bear.
You're going to rock out with your cheeks out.
Oh, I could. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but I don't know. I'll have to work on it. I have to make a new avatar, or maybe just like enhance these boobs and make it just boobs in the middle of the. Maybe I could, like, get rid of my face and everything and just put the double G's up there. I don't know, but
so,
anyway.
Peter, I got a question. Are you an ass man or a tits man?
Ooh. That's good. That's a very good question. So I'd have to answer that. It would depend on the boobs or the butt. So.
You see, this is why he's the Mayhem man. How's that perfect, right? So it depends on who he's with. Like, they got a good butt, he's a butt.
So some women have a more shapely butt that I find attractive. Some women have nice boobs or nice shaped boobs or whatever. So very, very seldom are women blessed with, shall we say, good assets all over. And I prefer to look at the shall we say the positive side of each person.
See, this is why you're a man. Yeah, I don't know.
Making it hard for men out there.
You're setting a standard that not many of them are going to meet. Although I think there's a few in the chat that would. Also, the men and the women, you can weigh in on this in the chat. We'd like to know: are you an ass or a boob person? I mean, I don't know. You guys want to answer it? I'll answer it. I'm neither. When it comes to well, there you go. First, everybody knows the way to get to me, like, you got to get to my brain first. After that, it's your damn thigh. After that, it's a man's thighs. I'm sorry. There's something.
I'd just like to. I'd just like to add something a little bit there, Claire.
Yeah.
It also depends on how comfortable the person is.
Oh,
sometimes the person that you're with prefers to just have the lights off.
Lights off? What's that?
That's I'm still going to be very thrilled with the fly.
See the mirror on the roof.
Here we go with that again. I do not have a mirror. I don't care what they say. I do not have a mirror on my roof.
I just put the night vision on Jen and get away with it. It's all good.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, I just have to be. We were talking about this last night, right, Jen? I just did read from my gyno-urologist. There is such a thing. Sent me an article about all of the orgasms I've ever had in my life started in my brain. She Freaked me out. I read it and it's true. It's absolutely true. And then she convinced me that the biggest sensual organ that we have that leads to orgasm is not our parts. It's not our sex organs. It is not, Peter's package or Mrs. Cassandra's quim. It is not. It is our skin. You can come to orgasm without ever touching a sexual part of someone's body. There is scientific data that shows just caressing someone's ear, if you have if they feel that connection with you, if they feel safety, connection, intellectual stimulation,
I was going to
they will.
That whole situation where, shall I say, someone that you care for and trust is whispering those sweet nothings in your ear, maybe a bit of a nibble on the neck. The shivers of excitement go down the body. You feel every hair from the tip of your head down to right down to your toes, all stand on end all at once. And I think that's the perfect example of that.
I do too, because for me, I've always been pretty honest that that's it for me. It's not exactly what somebody looks like. It's more exactly how they make me feel around them, the connections that I build. There's the instant connections or the ones that build long term, but it's all about trust. It's
and that big old brain.
And that big old brain. I am definitely turned on by intellect. If you can have a conversation with me for more than an hour about anything, you become instantly more attractive. I don't care what color your eyes are, how tall you are, whether you got a big package. You just made it to the column. Like, you made it there. Like, it doesn't matter. All that physical stuff doesn't matter. You get in the column in other ways. It's got to start there. You got to get in the column to get anywhere else. So, I mean, we probably all have been in situations where very attractive people or whatever. But I have to say that some of the most attractive people that maybe had been attracted to me and maybe I would, in my youth, may have wanted to date or otherwise, it just didn't. It wasn't as advertised. Let's just put it that way. It was some of the most disappointing conversations and physical interactions I've ever had in my life. And that doesn't mean that attractive people are evil or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it, like, my experience, it didn't work for me because I didn't have that connection. It didn't matter how gorgeous they were. And oh God, like
same. You have to have that big old brain. There has to be that mental thing going on. The physical doesn't matter. It's the brain. It's got the connection there.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not to say I wasn't very attracted to athletes in my youth, because I was. Because that's all I did. I dated the football players. I dated the basketball players. I was like 5 foot tall and dated all the hugest people I could find, because I'm just strange that way. I don't know.
Just because you might have their posters on your wall doesn't mean you want to go to bed with them.
Exactly. But, they were all really great people and everything like that. But for a long-term committed relationship, just nothing ever clicked like that. It just all starts somewhere else. You never know who. I was thinking, oh my gosh, there's so many. You guys bring up everything I've been thinking of all week. Like, were you guys spying on me? Peter, did you run the feed? You ran the feed, right? You set the feed out there. You set the camera feed out from my bedroom because, for those of you who don't know that may be catching Mayhem for the first time, I stream naked from the middle of a king-size bed right here in New Jersey in my room all alone, doors shut, blinds down, just me and you. Okay, that's how I do it. I have
fun when the blinds are down. I like people to see what I'm doing.
You're an exhibitionist. Oh, that leads me to a question. Ready, Mrs. Cassandra? Because I'm going to start with you on this one. Wait, first of all, we didn't finish because I get distracted and I'm an idiot. Suzanne and Jen and Mrs. Cassandra have to tell us what is their favorite body. I think Suzanne already answered when she said brain. What, Jen and Mrs. Cassandra, what is your most attractive feature of your partner or your love interest, sexual love interest? Oh, you did, brain. How about you, Mrs. Cassandra?
That's really hard because he's got the brains and the body, so it's like it's a jackpot.
You got the full trifecta.
Yes.
You are a very lucky woman. You are a very lucky woman. Then
he works out, so he's got the pecs and he's got such a nice ass, and then his thighs. Oh, whew. Okay. Anyway, keep going.
I remember those days. I'm old.
she's young and she's very, very happy. Mrs.
Oh, I'm
Who's
very,
there?
very happy.
Yes, and she lets us know all the time. Like she might take a break, like right in the middle of the stream, and then come back and tell us how happy she is. But that's good. I'm happy for her that way. I think that whole issue should not be. I realize it's embarrassing for some, but I am one that, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to put it out there. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We all need happy, healthy sex lives in consensual relationships with respect and trust, and it makes for happy people. Like I'm happier when that is going on. I'm just a much easier person to get along with. I can think clearly. I feel better. I'm happy with the world. You'll all get grace from me if I've had a no. If I had a no, it don't matter what you do the next day. I'm probably just gonna go, okay, yeah, that's you. I'm just gonna walk away now. Like I won't even, engage and be nasty bear or anything. I'm just gonna be happy. There's great studies on that too about it dealing with the pain, long-term chronic pain sufferers. Lots of stuff, but we've covered that before. But anyway. About voyeurism, Mrs. Cassandra. You thought I was going to forget, didn't you? But no, I'm not. You brought it up. So, Evil Bear today. Evil Bear wants to know, where have you ever had an encounter out in public somewhere? Where's the most broadly viewed, stranger view kind of place you did anything? I mean, do you actually leave your blinds up when,
No, I don't actually leave the blinds up.
I didn't think so. I know. It's like I couldn't either. Like I couldn't do it. Yeah, I couldn't do it. Yeah. Well, I didn't think so. A car counts. Those are big windows. Like if somebody wants to see, they're going to see in a car, right? Like.
Well, it's usually dark.
Oh, that's kind of romantic. That's kind of romantic.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity.
Yes, limo is one for me. That's kind of public because there is a driver, and I don't know that driver. They probably could peek if they wanted to.
Was the window up or down?
I was kind of busy. I don't recall.
I got a weird one for you. I got a really weird one.
Go ahead, Suzanne.
St. Louis, number 2, which is a big graveyard in New Orleans.
Oh, so was it inside?
Years ago.
Oh,
outside.
Daylight or nighttime or daytime?
Daylight.
Oh, go on with yourself, Suzanne.
When I used to smoke a lot of pot, and I was very young and stupid, so.
I don't think that's stupid. I think that's free. And that's a memory you're going to have forever. Just because it was daylight, it must have been more exciting.
So wait, was it during a funeral?
No, not during a funeral.
Okay.
There's a reason in New Orleans now where all the graveyards are locked because people would go in there and smoke pot and do all kinds of crazy things. So all the big old Catholic graveyards are locked, shut, and you can only go in there if you're like a family member or something now because it was such a hangout spot for so many teenagers.
Mm-hmm. No, that is actually, you know what? I think that's a good story because it's daylight. It is, and it wasn't inside a crypt like you were like right out there in daylight.
Oh no, right out in the open.
Yeah, and if anybody knows like cemeteries and stuff like that, that's pretty open. Like people are walking around, like you never know when somebody's going to be like coming around. That is brave and exciting at the same time. Like that's a pretty cool story. It's like
I'm glad you said coming around.
Are you? Are you, Peter? I have to watch everything I say around you, dude. It's like, actually, I don't. I actually don't watch it.
No, because I'll pick it up for you and throw it back.
Yeah, I know. You're just throwing it back at me. But they'll, was like, we're not doing any of that unless, consensual, respectful.
There, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to get some more shots for sure. I'm going to get more of those. No, that's too fun. But so Peter, do you have a story?
A story.
Oh no.
Well, once upon a time. No. So as a younger man, I was very, shall we say, an outdoorsy type person. and I always took, shall we say, I found it somewhat exciting in the outdoor and wilderness, if you know what I'm trying to get out.
Mhm.
So potentially bushwalking or hiking out out in the scrub, like
Mhm.
that was something that I always found, shall we say, exciting.
Mhm. So you're talking about outdoor sex then?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
during hiking and camping?
Well,
Yeah.
you've always got that potential of getting caught, but it's more of that. It's more of um, uh, almost a grounding, a returning to one's nature, as it would be.
Mhm.
It's you've almost going back to the wild in a way.
I definitely have to support that one. I'm definitely, besides the limo, guilty of that one. Loved hiking and trails. Not so much the ones that go real high up into the mountains and are difficult, but just like through the woods, nature, by streams. Probably got busy on a couple of big flat rocks occasionally out in the sun. In my youth, not now. I'm a little, not so much willing to do it this time, but they're some of the best experiences ever because it was just so um, one with nature and just peaceful, and the birds and the rushing water. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I could see it. Even picnics or camping in the wood. I mean, hey, I mean, we would go camping for like a week at a time. So of course something's gonna happen in the tent, out of the tent, somewhere. Like it was whatever. But
This
I can
stuff happens.
understand. Yeah, stuff happened. Stuff happened. Yeah, lots of stuff happened. Yeah. Well, yeah. That laugh. Like I'm trying to keep a straight face here, and she comes up with that laugh. It's like I can't. Well, yeah, stuff happens. Good stuff. It's all good stuff. There's nothing to be ashamed of. We were young and attracted to each other, and there's nature. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to get down and busy with bunny rabbits and chipmunks and deer and all that running around? Of course, it's like you know.
Too much
What,
outdoors.
yeah, what do you think
Too
they're
much
doing?
help.
What do you think they're doing? So of course. How about you, Jen? Are you ready?
Am I ready?
You have a story? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. I don't want anybody to.
I've told so many of my thingy stories, different sexual stuff that I probably can't think of one I haven't already said.
Mm,
I mean,
we do talk about it a lot, don't we? But I think my favorite.
do, don't we? But I
Yeah.
mean, the thing that always sticks in my mind was driving across the Nullarbor and doing it on the side of the road.
On the side of the road, like
Yeah,
wait,
on top of the bonnet of my car and getting honked at by the trucks as they went past.
there you go, because you just had to stop, pull over. You went on the top of the car, and
Yeah.
that's good story. There you go. That's
That was
dedication.
great fun. And right where everyone I mean, the Nullabor's not that busy, but you do get the trucks drivers going through and a few other people. You don't have to see a cop anywhere, so the risk of getting caught was minimal. But being seen by people driving past and they're honking their horns.
It's like approval. It's like at least they weren't holding up scorecards or anything.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, though, Jen. Like the Nullarbor Plain. 5 hours pass and you're only halfway across it.
Yeah, it's
It's so big. All of a sudden, you can only fight off the urge for so long.
Exactly, and that was the point. It was a nice day. There was an opportunity, and we took it.
No, and that's in my youth, that used to be the exciting part, like opportunity and just like going with it. It just made it much more exciting.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be that exciting now, but
now that we're older with all this, like I don't know about everybody else, but when you get older and you've got all these commitments, you've got work, you've got children, you've got this, you got that, trying to get together with your partner and have that excitement that you had then, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of just going wherever.
And
and if the moment strikes us and there's nobody home and I'm in the laundry, and I get stuck on the washer, hey, I'm going with it. Like, I'm going with it because you have to seize the moment, right? Like, that's my point. Like,
it's not just that though.
Grab that spin cycle.
It's not just that though, Claire. But like, let's be honest. It is with all of that, like you were saying, being adults, you've got all this adult
mm-hmm.
stuff that you have to worry about, and time and place, and making sure little ones are away. All of that planning to make sure that the special moment happens, I find quite often ruins that special moment. It
does.
It takes away that spontaneity. It's
Mm-hmm.
no longer I'm doing this because I want to. It's right. Yeah, we've got 15 minutes between now and picking up Johnny. Let's see what we can fit in.
Mm-hmm. And I have heard that from partner in the past that saying, oh, as the one maybe complaining about not having as much intimacy as I would like, that puts incredible pressure on the other person. So you kind of have to change your tactics to, like, make those moments. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to be connection, right? Like, if you feel that connection at that time, just go for it. It doesn't have to be stars and stripes forever. I'm not expecting fireworks. It's just like, it doesn't have to be like, the perfection. It is what it is at that moment. You look at each other, you see that little glint, you got like 15 minutes to go for it. You're going to build a stronger relationship, and it's going to get easier to connect on that level more and more and more intimate, like, as you go. Sometimes you have to settle for just like a little degree down just to get it to where you want it to be all the time. Because I love romance. I want to be courted and all of that stuff. Caressed, wanted, desired. I want you to play like, you just have to have me. But that can all be done verbally during the week while you have absolutely no opportunity to do it, because that helps too. Have you found that, Peter, that if you just talk to each other in a very playful manner and tease each other, like, until you have the opportunity, it does build up the excitement and the anticipation. It makes the other person feel wanted.
Yeah,
and
it definitely can.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. That's, well, I think as a woman, that's all I really wanted to think about, is that even though you don't have the time, it is something you still wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't put me on a shelf somewhere. I don't, what's the saying? And I've used this before. I don't want to feel like furniture, like in my own house. You know what I mean? Or in my relationship. So
And
even if you can't.
I also think that, like there's that whole, shall we say, that thought and opinion where the husband brings home flowers, and he only brings home flowers because he wants a bit, and I think in some ways that is such an apt statement, because it gets, particularly for a guy, like he's been at work all day or whatever, and he comes home to his caring, loving partner, and he does want a bit, but he still wants to show that romance and stuff, and sometimes it's somewhat difficult for particularly a man to instigate it in a way that's not just come here, I want you now type of caveman mentality, or here's a bunch of flowers and I did this because I love you, and since I love you I want sex. It's the trick is always finding shall we say, a new and unique way of doing it. So you might find a certain, I don't know, biscuit, or a particular type of sweet that she likes, that's not readily available, and that's all nice in the way of gestures. But then again, sometimes I think even making the extra step of, shall we call it, a dirty weekend, so you plan the trip so that she knows nothing about it, so that you've got a lovely little cabin in the middle of nowhere where there's no Wi-Fi, there's no, the only power there is to power the lights type of scenario. and even that associated thing is a way that a guy can, shall we say, instigate that whole random apparent, the situation to occur by itself without forcefully instigating it, if that makes sense. So it still keeps that romance and all of that side of things there as well.
Yeah.
We just have like a look. Like we give each other this look, like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, and you've built that by acting on that look, right? Like when the two of you would look at each other and you would act on it. Now that you've built that into your relationship, that look, you know what you both are thinking, and you're looking for a closet, right, or a corner or something. That's what you do. Like it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. Like I don't know. I get into this conversation with my girlfriends a lot. Like they say, I should demand more or expect more, but
I don't need to.
I don't need to either, because I'm getting exactly what I want. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? I was just like,
I just give him a look and he knows.
yeah, I want to give my partner the freedom to say yes or no, to do things spontaneous or not, to not feel like he has to come home with wine and flowers. Actually, I think that's a setup when they do that. Like if it's not like something, maybe I'm the kind of person, I'm like, what'd you do?
I'm the same way.
What did you want? Or what do you want? Like, because you know that you don't have to do all of that. Like, if you want to, like, all you have to do is say, hey, you got anything going on tonight? Let's make a cheese plate. Or, hey, pineapple pizza? What do you think? Extra hot, spicy chilies tonight or medium chilies tonight? And I know what you're talking about. There we go. Like, I like the trust and connection there. Like, it doesn't have to be all of that. But then my girlfriends are like, oh, my God, he hasn't brought me flowers in 3 months. I said, flowers dies. Was he there? Did he talk to you? When he woke up this morning, did he say hello, love? Did he ask you how your day was? Did he make you coffee? And they say yes, 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 but they're worried about flowers they didn't get for 3. Like, I don't get that. Like, I worry more about that day-to-day transaction, that connection, that real trust and commitment to each other. Like, if you act like you hear me and understand me and you listen to me, I'm there. I'm loyal as anything.
So,
I will be there.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to drop down and I'll be back later.
Okay, have fun. I'll talk to you in a minute. Yeah, have a good time. Okay. Before we start on the other part, I just want to say Christola gave us a story about being, doing sex in odd places. I have one. Me and my hubby have done it multiple times when we went hunting. We didn't hunt. We did it and fell asleep in a food plot field. But that was an excuse why we couldn't take gremlins. Okay, I get it. That's why. So you didn't actually go hunting. It was like you went hunting to. Well, that's cool, because at least you went out and you made a commitment to each other. That's a cute story. Thank you for sharing it, Christola. But yeah, but this is a good conversation. This is how this goes. Again, it is like an hour and a half into Mayhem, and whatever I had planned, right, Peter? Whatever I present, whatever I get ready that I'm going to do, I don't do, because I'd rather just have the conversations with everybody, what they bring up, because connections matter. That's something I was thinking about, like, this week, the way we connect with people on different levels, in being open, to recognize.
You could touch on it now. It's
I could. It's pretty.
Since you brought it up and all.
Since I brought it up and all. All right. Well. Wow. All right. I don't know. I'm so peaceful right now, though. But I'll start. And if the room doesn't empty, I'll continue. But here we go. I took offense this week on Twitter, and last week on Twitter, and the week before that on Twitter. About certain terms, legal terms that are being tossed around, that people don't even know what the hell they're talking about. Like, I'm all for people having an opinion about things and inserting themselves, into situations. If there's lawsuits and there's different parties and they're all friends that we all know or whatever, and everything's connected. But, Google's a thing, okay? Knowing what you're talking about, it should be a thing. But Google's a damn thing. So if you're going to be throwing around like certain terms and things like that, I really think that they should know what they're talking about. Well, one of the things was when people are out there accusing people of stuff, and you know, Suzanne, this is big because right now another person from the, I don't even want to say from the community, but in the Twitterverse and the YouTubeverse that we all frequent a little bit out here, everybody knows this person. They just came out again and now have said that everything that was accused of a certain group of friends, who I am friends with, Aaron is a friend. We are internet personalities that like each other and interact together. I don't know if you call them friends, but I like and admire Erin very much. I support Erin in her statement and how she does. I think she's snarky as hell, intelligent, and I back her up. And she was accused of all kinds of stuff. So was Tina, I'll cut you, who was another person that never did anything. Yeah?
They're both awesome, and they're accused of so much garbage by so many stupid people.
Work acquaintances works.
What?
Work acquaintances.
Work acquaintances.
Yeah, I guess that might be a term.
It might be. We've been on panel with this office. No, it's not. It's people slamming other people's character with absolutely no facts. That's what it is. And also Steve. Steve and I have known each other in these circles. Like, we're not besties. We talk. I'll answer a call to him. I will talk to him if he wants to talk about something. He's a decent person. I'm not going to judge him. He's accused of atrocious things, you know. And so was Manya and Cheshire and people that I know. And you know what? It could have been any of the three of you here with me now or anybody in that chat. And I would feel the same way. These people talking about this stuff and putting all of this information out there with not a shred of evidence, nothing to back it up, even when called for it. For how many months now, Suzanne? Like 2 months?
Oh, my goodness.
You know,
gone way back.
Mm-hmm. And now that the person who started the accusation, which all of them were basing it on some person's words, so that person has retracted their words and said, nope, it wasn't them. Where are the apologies? Like, where is the, I might have got that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that damaged you. I'm sorry I just didn't have the guts to tell you I didn't have the evidence to prove my unwarranted statements against your character, and I don't know who you are. But, you know, I was feeling a little whatever that day. But at least take some accountability, you know, because that would mean more to me than this hiding and saying and not addressing it. Hiding and saying, oh, but, you know, this person said it, so that doesn't make it true. It does not.
Just to add to that, though, Claire, I think it's a very important point here. And when I say this, please don't attack me. I'm not having a go at Americans, okay?
Oh, can I please? I haven't attacked an Australian yet today. Please. No.
Let me say it first.
Okay, go ahead. I'm just joking anyway. You know it. You could hear it in your voice. Okay.
So, free speech is something that I totally support and agree with. However, and let's underline this, make it bold, make it italic, and everything all at once. You need to understand that free speech does not mean free from consequences. If you say something that is free speech, if you want to try and pull that whole free speech thing, you need to say it correctly in the correct format. Because if you even submit a statement that's even close to fallacious at all, it is not free from consequences.
This is, you know what? I can't agree with that any louder or any clearer, like 1,000%. Like, thank you, Peter. I can't even yell at you for being Australian and bashing Americans for doing it, because that's true. You know, it's absolutely horrendous, and it's been part of the lack of accountability, the thinking that they can cause harm like that, and because you can't be prosecuted for it or this, that, or the other thing, that it's all true. But no, you are showing your ugly asses, people. You are going out there without evidence and without this, that, or the other thing, and damaging people's character out there on the internet where it really does cause damage. You know, you're not like having a private rant about how you feel somewhere. You're out there on the internet making bold statements in black and white, and you're on YouTube videos and panels talking shit. for hours and hours and hours and hours in a repeat cycle that some could say could be psychologically trying to manipulate others to think things your way. And I think maybe we should do a class action suit. I, for one, if I have to watch that shit, but I don't, would definitely be suing at this point for what they're doing to my mentality.
Are you part of the class action lawsuit at all?
Me? No, I am not. Are you, Suzanne? Hopefully not.
Yes,
oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you should.
My life story got shared as somebody else's life story, I was just done at that point. It's like, yes, I will join the class action lawsuit now.
No, I am not talking, Belinda, about that person. That person hasn't retracted anything. That person's in the weeds and will not come forward.
Yeah. And I knew you're not I know who you're talking about, but yeah, that just was one of those things that jumped in my mind. I had to ask about.
And let's just be clear for everybody who's in the chat and everybody be listening lately. It's just not my style to mention the names because I know y'all know who we're talking about. Exactly. I know you know all the situation, but I'm not going to get out here and start giving them the credibility of their name coming out of my mouth.
Okay.
For one. And number two, because I'm not going to do what they do and go out there and make these bold statements of like, but what I will do is educate people on what they are doing wrong, like the difference between libel and slander. Like, I'm sorry, but they are actually putting themselves at risk. Okay, they think because these situations are happening, they can talk about them and they could say their opinions about it and they could do all of it. But if they're doing damage to people on purpose, here's the thing. If you do an 8-hour stream on something with one subject, could somebody say that that was done with intent? On purpose?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
And let me just add to here, though, and something that some of these YouTubers, without mentioning anyone's names in particular, that they need to learn some of the things that the actual journalists do say. You know, if someone is arrested, they turn around and say this person was arrested at this place for allegedly doing this. They don't turn around and say, it's of my opinion and I'm allowed my opinion. That is not covering your ass. That is opening yourself up to both slander and or libel type actions. Your opinion doesn't matter in a court of law. It really doesn't. If you said those things and it's your opinion, the moment that you set it out in the real world, the moment you set it on YouTube, the moment that you write it on Twitter, it's no longer your opinion. You're pushing a narrative that opens you up to both of these, both libel and slander type conditions.
And I get and this is true. This is so true. But just so that we could go through just a little bit, I just want to say that the difference between libel and slander is how it is done. Both of them are statements that could go against somebody and cause damage to their reputation and other things. But libel is actually the written or published defamatory statement, something that goes against somebody's character or accuses them of something with no evidence. And that would be written, and that would qualify for Twitter or in a YouTube chat. Okay, if you're putting it in writing and somebody can read it, libel. If it is verbal, you're on a stream for 8 hours, that is slander when you're doing them. That's the difference, okay? Both of them are punishable under almost the same exact type of guidelines, okay? It's just where and how that it happens. Well, just to be clear about what defamation is, because there's I got into a battle with somebody here on Twitter just the other day. Not a really hard one. I didn't go very hard. They didn't go very hard. But they tried to say I didn't even know what the definition of defamation was. And, have you met me? I'm like reading legal briefs in the morning. Like, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a paralegal. But I love the stuff. And I know how to use goddamn Google. And I can read above second grade English. Like, I get this. Defamation is the oral or written communication of a false statement about another that unjustly harms their reputation and usually constitutes a tort or crime. In several countries, like South Korea, a true statement can also be considered defamation if it causes harm to get out there and it wasn't supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, even something that isn't a lie could be defamation.
So just to clear something up there, from that statement, that description of defamation, it doesn't matter if you know if it's a lie or not.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a lie and you don't know if it's a lie because someone else told you, your
Mm-hmm.
reliable source, your trusted person,
Mm-hmm.
it's still defamation.
It is still definition, and I'm giggling not about what you said, but because Polly's avatar is winking at me down there. Jen, you're fucking cracking me up. It just caught the corner of my eye. Jen, what are you doing to me? I know you're just trying to call. I know. Thank you. You're pulling me down to reality here a little bit, but I get it. Listen,
Sorry, I also wanted you to see that I've been playing around with this.
this is so cute. Oh God,
This
if
is
you
the
make.
built-in one. I was hoping there was a duck in the built-in, but this is the closest I could get. So.
I might have to get that in. I'd go OBS if I could be a bear. I definitely would. But
Well, you don't even need to go OBS. You could run OBS in the background and import this into OBS and use that to create your screen that goes in rather than. And you can still use StreamYards, but you could use this to create your avatar. And it just means having somebody make up an avatar that's the one you want. So they actually have a bear in it. So I could.
A bear. Every time they talk about avatars that move like animated avatars, I get very excited because, like, I want to be able to.
Because every time I move my head, it thinks I'm blinking.
I want to be able to move on screen and do all the stuff that I do and let you guys see my actual facial reactions in my hands. Like I talk with my hands. Like right now, you would be like seeing my hands go all over the place. Like I can't. I can't. They would. Yeah. But you know. You're right, Peter, because it's the intent of what they're doing it. When you are saying all these statements, you try to convince people of something that you want out there. There's no way that you can hide behind, like, was it a lie or was it true or whatever. You are actually pushing the information forward. And in the case of certain things, like currently, and I'll mention this case because it's a black and white law case going on right now that I read both sides of. Okay, and yes, there are two people that we all know, and it's Katie Joy and Steve McRae. Okay, and Steve McRae is now suing Katie for the defamation that she caused for him. Okay, and people are out there saying that it's not defamation because the screenshots that were used for her, part of the evidence that he is using is a set of screenshots where they were talking about things he did that he didn't do. And the person that we're talking about, that I won't mention their name, who's coming out and saying they were altered, they're fake, everybody admits it, that wasn't true. Now they're saying that Steve can't sue Katie Joy for defamation because the information she got was a lie.
Which actually makes,
which is bullshit.
Steve's case even stronger.
Because
it's now seen as a lie. It's the person who did it admitted that it's a lie, and Katie pushed it out. That means Katie's pushed out a lie as a live stream and on Twitter, which is both defamation and slander.
And is there not, here you go, Katie, the so-called, okay, here's my air quotes, I know you can't see my hands, but the so-called fucking reporter, the journalist.
I gotta address that in a second.
Yeah. So does she not have vetting responsibilities?
Well,
okay, this is what I told that person. I said, step off here, dude, because it doesn't have to be a lie or a true. She's got due diligence she has to prove, and she didn't do any. She didn't, that person didn't come out and convince her of this by showing them facts and doing this. She didn't do any due diligence at all. She took that lie, she ran with it, she caused the defamation, period. She's the one with the platform. We're not talking about a normal, everyday citizen that could have been hoodwinked into doing this, are we? We're talking about a person with a platform and a voice. And with that comes due diligence and responsibility. Even if she's not nobody believes she's a reporter or a journalist. Every day she's changing a story. One day she is, and the next day she's not. It depends on who's suing her for what.
I know the origin of that, though. I know exactly the origin of why she claims she's a reporter. And I've been shouting it from the housetops. We were both at Pathos, and I trained her. I helped train her, unfortunately. Pathos Pathos decided, the new owners decided to rebrand, and they told everybody to quit calling yourself a blogger, that you had to call yourself something else. A daily columnist, an opinion writer. They had a whole long list of stuff. And she turned to me on the internet and said, gee, does that mean I can call myself a reporter or a journalist? And I said, well, that's kind of pushing it. And she grabbed it and ran with it. That is the origin of that.
So the one thing that, and since you're here, Susan, please feel free to answer this. Now, being a bit of a layperson in this position, my question would be, would not a journalist, even if they were a standalone journalist that was only doing stuff and selling it to whomever purchased it, they would still have a list of clienteles that they sold stuff to. Notice I use the word sold.
Yes.
And if you're not selling stuff, you're not necessarily a journalist until such time as you're being actually paid for your commentary or your reporting skills or something along those lines.
No, I agree with you. That's how it is. But here's the other thing it's still absolutely infuriating. Pathos had a best practice standards book they gave everybody, an online book, I should say, that addressed all the crap she's doing that you couldn't do and explained where the lines were, where the parameters are. I've yet to see a news organization that didn't do that, even writing for the local paper. And I don't think she ever read that stupid manual. Everybody else did. And we had to sign off on it. And yes, I agree not to slander anybody doing X, Y, and Z.
And that would be like so, stop winking at me, Jen. That would be so typical of her, Suzanne, because, it's all like, do as I say, not as I do. She'd be the first one to tell everybody else what they're not doing as far as policy over there, right? She always had lots to say about what they weren't doing for her. But she couldn't even follow. She couldn't take it when they were saying, listen, we're getting some heat because the way you're attacking Toddy is a little inappropriate, or you're going too far, or your source documentation is inaccurate. These are all things that she was kind of accused of. Yeah. I think I pretty much keep my facts. I think for one thing, I'm a pretty good historian with that stuff. Like if I see it in black and white, I remember it, and I saw that. Yeah. So she's like, pot calling kettle black. She's telling them, well, you're not promoting me enough, and you're not doing this enough, and you're not doing that. But okay, well, why would we? Like, we can't push you out there because we don't know what you're going to say because you're not following the rules. Like, you're outside the box here,
She complained all the time about every other writer up there, about our editor. She just complained, and it was all about how nobody was patting her on the back and complimenting her. Mm-hmm. And that drove her nuts. And I was kind of like, we're kind of we're not a bunch of touchy-feely types there. We're kind of all in competition for eyeballs on the page or whatever. We're kind of a cranky, bitter, snarky bunch over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she's in there wanting somebody to make her cocoa and tuck her in with a blanket. And it's like, you got to be kidding me. I can't believe how childish you are.
So, but I in the same breath, though, Susan, I'm sure if one of the reporters wrote a story that was just drop dead, fantastic, no problems with the story, the reporters would have turned around and said, good job on that story, thanks very much. Rightio, in other news, they would have passed over a bit of, shall we say, social etiquette within the stables of Pantheon and all of that. But anyone else in that situation, if the editors and that aren't coming to you, patting you on the back, yeah, well, generally speaking, that's telling you something. Just saying.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a sort of thing where people were very complimentary anyway, but there was some of that going on behind the scenes, but not in massive amounts. But I always tell people when they say, "Oh, well, Katie Joy said blah blah blah," and she didn't know who you are and all that. It's like, well, I trained her ass, you know?
Yeah, right. It's like, and then she tries to say like she don't know you, like I don't know how she knows like all of that. Like I don't know what you're talking about, but
Yeah, no, that's what's really
yeah.
funny and infuriating sometimes. And it's kind of like, girlfriend, I have copies of the emails at Pathos when you were fighting with Bill Fox.
Jen, you are cracking me up. You had your tongue hanging out of your mouth. Now you're blowing kisses all over the place. What are you doing to me? This is a cute alien. I like this look, though. I really
like
do.
this one, actually, yeah.
It is. She always trying so hard to be serious. I know, but we are actually.
How to link the hands up to do hand animations, but the head works really well. So.
Oh, does it? Okay.
I can nod at you.
I know. I saw. You were sticking your. You're sticking your tongue out at me, you know. But on that, the thing about defamation, the only other thing that I want everybody on replay and chat to know is that everybody's throwing that word defamation per se out there, and they're also putting stipulations on it that there has to be proof of damages and this and that. You have to lose money. He had to lose like his YouTube status, and he had to lose subscribers and stuff like that. That is not defamation per se. That is defamation per quote, and that is not what they filed in the report. So that's not what they're going for. They're going for her actually attacking his character, which she did, which we all saw.
Boy, did she do it.
Right. So, like, this is a character assassination. You don't get to apply monetary value to a character assassination because you can't, right? It's your character. There's no way to assign a monetary thing to that. You know, they're two separate things. And that, you know, whoever was on, you know, and I'm not going to give them the grace of mentioning their name because it gives me a headache for one, and it tastes like shit every time I even have to think about it or it comes anywhere near my lips. So basically this person just needs to get their shit straight and don't come at me talking about terms that you think that you know, because dude, you can't even use Google, because I found all this in 5 minutes to prove every goddamn word you said to me in the last 3 months was crap, bullshit, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So use Google and then maybe tweet me again if you feel like it. You know, but Google, dude.
The only thing that I want to add to that, the only thing I want to add to that, and I'll make this as clear as I possibly can. There are some states in America where not just defamation per se, but what is it? Defamation per quo? Is that right?
Yeah, per quote. It's QUOD. I believe that said quote. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even have to show financial losses for that. So
defamation of character doesn't have to be a financial loss, does it? So.
That's correct, but some smaller, shall we say, they might say high in the middle with 2 O's either end. You don't have to show any losses at all. You just go to court over it.
That's it. That's it.
It's filed and you go to court. Then you have to prove that you didn't do it or you're guilty. That's how it's there.
And John brings up a good point. He says, well, what from his understanding, the difficult part to prove about defamation is intent, if it was done with malice. Can anyone, and this is an honest question, I'm not being funny, although I am being funny. Because it is fucking funny. It is fucking funny. But could anybody say over the last 2 years that that intent will be hard to prove?
So I'll say this, okay? So if someone was to do a stream in the last 5 years, one stream, and they brought up this KDJ and Steve McRae stuff, that would not if they got stuff wrong, that would not necessarily be seen as defamation, as it could have been a accident. It could have been seen as they got their information in the wrong place.
Oh, a one-time event? Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All they would have to do is make a retraction and apologise. Job's done. Walk away. However, in some other YouTubers' cases, for example, I don't know, 83 live streams of 8 hours long, making continuous accusations through the whole live streams. Yeah, let's just say the judge isn't going to go and sit down and watch them all. He's probably going to get through the third one and say, yep, tick in the box, you're screwed.
Pretty much.
If you're constantly saying it, if it can be shown that you're not just doing it on YouTube, but doing it on Twitter as well. So that's two separate platforms. Once again, the judge is just going to say, yep, tick in the box. There's intent here. He has meant to do this. He has put it out in multiple places, multiple times, even if people have tried to correct them. You know, particularly if people have commented saying this is not true or check your facts or something along those lines, where people have tried to correct them and they've just gone, no, I know because I've got secret evidence and all of that type of stuff. No, they're screwed. They have really dug their own hole.
No, it is true. And and for some in the chat and for some watching, I realize that this isn't exactly how you're used to me presenting how I feel about something, but it does make me hard on my collar. It does push a button for me because I'm not out for blood with these people. I'm not. I just want. Is it so wrong to want a little common sense, a little sensibility? How about a bit of honesty? Is that so wrong? I mean, I think I've reached the end of my rope with not seeing any of it. And that's all I'm really asking for them to stop with the bullshit and just take a step back and think for a second, because they don't know what they're talking about. And they just keep spreading it. Where are the apologies? Where's the common sense?
Yeah, I would just like them to research things a little bit before they jump in and start flapping their gums. Somebody was flapping their gums saying that it was unusual that the Josh Duggar trial is not going to let you have your electronics in the courtroom. And I was kind of like, I've gotten called a bunch for court. And that was one of the rules 10 years ago in Virginia. You could not have any kind of electronics in the courtroom.
So I'll just point out a case that was recently in America, where a certain young man may have acted irresponsibly, and it's been all over the media. Without getting into it, all I'm going to say is one of the times that the judge stopped the courthouse and kicked someone out was when their phone was recording.
Yes,
and as they should. Yeah,
it is nothing new. Even as a journalist. Even as a journalist reporting, there's a reason why the newspapers and television stations normally put up an Etch-a-Sketch picture of the courthouse. It's because cameras weren't allowed in there. It's you have the court artist drawing a picture of the court scene because cameras weren't allowed in there. They have to. If they want the transcript of what happened in the courthouse, that's fine. Pay the court, get the transcript, and you can read what was said. But you can't record it because let's be honest here for a moment, you're actually taking money out of the court transcripts, transcribers' pocket. So
exactly.
It's all big picture stuff that people don't realise that, no, you can't do that stuff. And it's been like that since cameras were around, let alone phones.
Yeah, forever. It's been around, some of these rules.
No, it is. I'll say there's two comments I want to put up here. One from Godless because it's kind of funny. Where did it just go? Where'd you go? Anyway, he was saying, if we do go to sue, like I believe they're talking about the 8-hour YouTuber. What are we going to get? Like vape juice and a stale piece of bread? Like, what are we going to get? But that's not what I want. You know what I want? I want accountability. I want a zipper. I want him to have to shut the fuck up about it because he's wrong. That's what I want.
Hang on. Just because he said it can't be done, I want him to have to hand over his YouTube channels.
Oh, yeah, but, yeah. But then again, you see, I do see why, Peter. I do. And I understand. And I kind of support you in it. But I do also want to support free speech and his ability to do whatever he wants to do. But I do think he has to take accountability for what he's doing. These 8-hour streams actually hurt somebody. That's bad stuff, But I don't like to see anybody get canceled.
I'm not saying cancel him, right? I'm not saying cancel him. However, let's be honest. If all right, so if I'm out on the American road driving a great big yank tank around and I do something wrong, Officer Plod pulls me over and says, "You're a naughty boy. You didn't indicate at that last bloody intersection." I get sent off to traffic school, don't I? Yeah, possibly. Now,
Yes.
why isn't there a YouTube traffic school where he can't stream? However, he has to go through a mandatory reassessment of justification of why he should be allowed to live stream when he's going to do this type of stuff.
I don't know here, but I need to address this. Thank you, Godless, for your comment, and Negative, thank you for showing up here. But if you're talking about Mr. McRae, how about the fact that he did ask for a court hearing, and it was the other side who pulled that, and they did a negotiation, and and that's when they made the agreement. So yes, he could have showed his side, and he could have did the affidavit, but that got pulled. It's not that he didn't want it; he's the one that filed for it to go forward and to contest it, which is why the agreement happened. So don't come into my chat and try to put only one side as if that's important information after. Don't try to claim that that girl didn't go running with her lawyers and make an agreement because she didn't want everything come out there. Don't even act like it wasn't her side that actually asked for the agreement and to stop the process, because it was a temporary and it never went forward. So stop. Just stop. Not one side. Not here. It's not going to happen. If you have facts, bring them. But you're not doing that bullshit here. This isn't the place.
If I'm not mistaken, what ended up happening was there was a certain set of lawyers that went and saw Katie J's set of lawyers, and the set of lawyers said, "Well, this is the evidence that we've got," and Katie J's set of lawyers turned around and said, "We'll agree not to talk about it if you don't talk about it," and that's when Katie J's lawyers fired her.
And thank you, Negative. I appreciate your statement there. He didn't fight it because he didn't need to, because he got her to stop talking and negatively saying things about her, or he thought, because they stopped talking, but that didn't happen as far as more of the defamation and things that happened. And I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate it. And I'm not coming hot on the collar. I'm already hot on the collar, so it's not you that got me this way. I'll just tell you that. So I do sound a little forceful in my proclamation right there, but it's because I'm tired of people coming at me with offhanded remarks like that without the rest of the information trying to turn the chat or turn the conversation. I know that you're just being an honest interlocutor at this point. I won't say I know. Let's just say I'll give you the grace that might be how you're approaching me. But the full story is her side wanted an agreement, so they both stopped talking, and that's what happened. He didn't get the chance to go to court because they made an agreement. He could, because what he wanted is the damage to stop at that time. And I'm not going to blame him for that or anything. There was opportunity for him to sue her there, but there's still opportunity for him to sue her now. It does not make what she did not happen just because more time has passed. He's still within his rights. He's going to do it because more happened afterwards. He got pushed to this point. Got pushed here.
Just remember, though, Negative, I'll say this. Katie still hasn't shown anything to prove her statement. There is no evidence of what she claims.
I'll make a side with Negative right here. I'll bet you we get another agreement, because I don't really think for all her talk, Katie wants to go to court. I don't.
Oh,
I do not.
She'll probably lose.
I do not see how it's in her benefit to show up in a court and try to prove this stuff Negative. And I could be wrong, but I'll make you a little side bet here. And that doesn't mean I think one party or the other is right or wrong. I just know the players, and I know kind of what's probably in her best interest at this point. And I don't see her going to court. I don't. I see it all bravado. I see it all pushing back. And I'll bet you her attorneys approach his to settle this outside of court. I'll bet. And if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I'll say I'm wrong. She'd rather settle. She's going to settle. She don't want, you can't sit there and say that she's totally right about everything. There's stuff she don't want out there. There's stuff she does all the time, and it would all come out. Nobody wants to go through it. Who wants to go through that where they're going to dig through everything for 2 years, everything you did and said? I wouldn't. I'd be looking to settle. It just makes sense to me, But
Well, she said in live streams that she's going to settle with Steve. She said that at the very beginning when he was sued. She said something like, "Well, big deal. I'll just have a settlement with him." Like it didn't matter at all.
Yeah, she already set the precedent. That's her preference because she don't.
That's only if Steve agrees to it this time, though.
Mm-hmm.
See, and what Katie needs to understand, and unfortunately, a lot of other people out there, she can try and settle, but ultimately, it's going to come back to Steve this time if he's prepared to settle. Steve might just turn around and say, "No, I don't want to settle this time. I'm going to see this one through." And if he does that, I really think that she's in a world of hurt, because the stuff that she said under defamation per se, the stuff that she said on Twitter, the stuff that she said in live streams, the stuff that she said in live chats, it all is covered by defamation per se, and she's in a big bit of trouble here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she is. And I only talk about it because it's a legal thing. Because everybody knows I don't do the Katie. This is unusual for us. I don't do Katie Joy stuff often on my channel unless it's a parody. I do like to do those. I do like to take a dig here and there as a parody once in a while. But I don't normally do panel stuff about Katie. But it's a legal case that I feel strong about. And looking at both sides of the evidence, and it's very emotional. And so I get a little heated about it, and because I know all the players, and I just want people to use common sense in looking at it and actually look at the black and white evidence and facts. And things could have happened last year differently, but they didn't. And cool, negative. I'm not upset with you either. Everybody has a voice here. If there's anything about Mayhem, we talk about everything, and I'm never going to run away from a conversation. So as long as you're presenting as an honest interlocker, and I'm going to give you the grace for that, and not trying to skew my chat with one side of a story from long ago that doesn't really pertain to now, because honestly, she's getting sued now for whatever reason, and it's going to go through. They didn't kick it. He's got reason. They have to kick it. I'm going to say that he has reason until they kick it from the court saying he had no case. Okay? I'm going to say after looking at his evidence, he has a case. I think he does. I saw what he put up.
Yeah,
I think he's got this.
From what I've seen, in comparison to, shall we say, other cases that would be used as a precedence for this, he or whoever set up what particular things that he's used as his evidence has done a very well research job of making sure that the stuff that they've used is only stuff that really shines a bad light on Katie. She's going to have to either settle, shall we say, largely financially out of court, or she's going to have to go to court and bear the brunt of court costs as well, most likely, in my belief. It's from the stuff I've seen, it's very strong.
Yeah. I think so.
And even if it just comes down to he said, she said in court, that will just end up with the case chucked out. So there's no way she wins on a counterclaim here. She either loses or it just gets tossed out.
Well, I just want to give a big shout out to Steve. I know everybody is all critical of, well, not everybody, but a lot of people are very critical towards him. If Steve had not approached me when Katie stood me up that time, I wouldn't know about any of this. I wouldn't have known that I was being plagiarized at all. So Steve has gone way beyond, and for me personally, just opened my eyes to what was going on.
And he has the right to pursue this legally, and it'll all come out, in the court either way. We are all friendly, most of us, with Steve here. So most of my chat knows who he is. Like, we're not offended if anybody is against him. It's just how they do it. Negative, the only issue I have with some people on the other side is how they are doing it. if you see my name, which is the same on Twitter, you'll see me. If you ever see me entering any of those threads or making statements, it's because of what they're saying. If they are bringing up certain situations or they just don't know what the hell they're talking about as far as legally, it's offensive to me. You know, like, come with the truth, come with your opinion, but not, you don't get to use people's friends against them and stuff like that.
I just want to address one of the things that Negative just said. Do you consider him a public figure? Now, this is something, and I know both Nate Brody and Unirock have spoken about and saying how much that this would affect the case one way or the other. And in some ways it would, but in other ways it just won't. I know Nate may have a bar. Yeah, fine, good on him. And I'm not going to say anything ill of Nate right now. He's entitled to his opinion, and yes, there's a possibility that he could be seen as a public figure. However, I will point out this: number one, he really doesn't have a following as large as Nate.
It does introduce malice. Yes, it does, when you've got public figures back and forth. But that's on both sides, Negative. I agree. Don't you, Peter?
Yeah, totally agree. It does introduce malice. But when you're talking about defamation per se, it doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't. Like, it's still his character.
When it comes down to it, defamation per se in a court of law, because Steve's going for defamation per se, it doesn't bring in that part of it. If he was just going out for straight out defamation, yes, it does introduce the malice side of things. But it's you really need to have a look at the laws within the precinct of where it's been filed, and it's not an area where Nate is an expert of, and I will just say that in the nicest way I possibly can. He's not an expert in that area.
And even if he was, I tend not to take experts who have personal opinions or chose sides before they give their opinion anyway. It's pretty clear. I have actually seen some of the legal statements that they put up. I might have been with Cheshire when we marked it all up with red, and Intrigue did a nice little analysis of it. And there are issues. There are issues of cutting off sentences and only putting part of the definition out there. And
can I go here, Claire? And and I will say this: if this whole lot does make it to court, if it makes it to court, and there's a precedent set over this, people like Nate the lawyer, people like Unirock, and quite a few other commentary channels will need to take a really big look at themselves, because once there's a precedent set, even if it's in another state, it can be utilised and brought into any other case, which also then means if you're not saying facts and you're saying opinions, it's still opening you up for this type of court experience. And even if it happened last year or still going on now, as soon as this case is over, one way or the other, it's then opened up a precedence for this situation to occur in other places.
Yeah, indeed. When they talk about malice and they talk about that, there's also, like, it's not like either one of them doesn't realize, since they have YouTube channels, that what they say is going to cause damage to the other person. But there's no way that anybody's going to be able to say that the things that she said and did, she did not know they would cause harm. There's no way. But she knows what it takes. She knows what reputation means. You know, she knows how much she controls. This is a person who really likes to control everything that's said about her. Has anybody said anything about her lately? Are you allowed to counter her on anything without, like, her shutting you down? Like, oh, I mean, she deletes her own members, you know, for voicing an opinion.
She kicks out people out of her life for disagreeing with her.
Remember those things she sent out through her lawyer, the emails, what, about 2 months back or something like that? Do you remember those?
Oh, the buy-in emails thing? Yeah.
Yeah,
saw
I
that.
got one. And it said some pretty crazy things in it. One of the things they were after any manuscripts or notes I had taken with the eye towards writing a manuscript of any type or script was in there.
Yeah. This
And
is
I thought that was a rather controlling move. And you
It
can't
is.
answer that stuff if there's not an actual court order. You can't really expect people to turn over all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Negative. From what I am reading, for defamation per se, it doesn't have to have damaged his channel or his pocket to damage his character, which is what they have to prove. And I'm sorry, all you got to do is read Twitter to see it damaged his character. Just today, I tweeted, a layperson, you know me, I'm not usually out there saying that much, okay? I'm kind of on the sideways. I'm a fringe person, right? I mean, that's not an insult. A fringe person, somebody not in the inner circle of all this stuff going on. And yet, I tweeted one of Steve's streams out, and purposely somebody came on there and started saying a whole bunch of negative stuff about him. You can prove it damaged his character easily by just reading Twitter, just reading what's out there.
The other thing with that negative, if you had have seen earlier, Claire did have what the legal side of
the tort one was
what defamation per se is, and that's all it has to show. He doesn't actually have to show that he lost subs. He doesn't have to show that he lost revenue. He doesn't have to show any of that stuff. It's defamation per se.
Because defamation per quad is the one that has to show special damages, like that the harm came to his YouTube channel and everything else. Not defamation per se. That's all about character. You see, people, this is why when you came in, I was so hot under the collar, because I've been dealing with that like back and forth. People just using the language of what they think they know to persuade other people without the rest of the information. Like, get all the information out there and let people make their own decisions. You know, I'm not trying to sway one side or the other. I'm telling you what the actual definitions of, if you research it a little bit, what they say without picking out the words. You know what I mean? And that's not anything about you, Nick. I don't think you were doing that. You're actually being, those emails were ridiculous, especially when we could find the website they came from, within 2 seconds. That was really fun. Like, if you're gonna, here's the thing, besides the Katie and the Steve thing, just on a general basis for like the whole damn world, if you're gonna do some shady freaking shit, could you get better at it? Because this is getting funny. Like, if you're gonna have to fake shit and you're gonna have to do this, get a little better at it. Could you make me not find out about it within 5 minutes of when you did it? Like, be a little more entertaining at least. It's getting really
no kidding.
That was like, oh really? Like, that hit the streets within like 10 minutes, right, Suzanne? It's like everybody got the email.
Like, it was like bought the Lionel Hutz package, and sent it out. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God!
Look at this thing going, wait a minute. They're ordering me to shut up and give them all these documents. And one of the things they were after was all my correspondence with Katie, which all of our correspondence took place on Facebook Messenger. And when we had our falling out, she erased it all. So I'm looking at this laughing, going, they're ordering me to come up with documents that she erased that I don't even have. I just laughed at it and said no.
It was kind of like let me write this myself, throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Maybe somebody is foolish enough to send me something. And I'm just like, would anybody actually, like, when I read it, I'm like, would anybody actually like send her stuff after reading this? Like,
and the funny thing is that there was actually Australians that were sent that same email.
And the UK too, like, it went everywhere. It doesn't.
And it's like both of the people that I know that was sent them, the one here in Australia and the one in the UK that received that email, they thought, oh yeah, hang on, we'll just forward this to our lawyers so that they can have a laugh, because there's no jurisdiction, and for it to even go further than out of country, out of the US. Well, it has to go like through that whole federal system out to the out to the other countries and then back through the system back to you. It wasn't even done right. It wasn't done in a legal channel that it should have used.
I said the same thing. They would have to sue me through Costa Rican courts. It's quite expensive to do that. It's really hard to sue an American here for anything like that. They would have to get a judge to sign off on it here, which would cost money. Every step of the way here, people would have their hand out. I've been told it's as much as $100,000 to sue somebody here. And if you're like me, and everything you own is in your corporation, and the country says, "Oh yeah, you're only worth $75," that's the most they can get.
Yeah. And why? It's not like it was a legal document. Let's be clear. It was not. No one had to comply. And it was, I wonder if she got the international rate, because it went to Canada and Australia. It went to Costa Rica. I think it went to England too.
Look, let's all be honest here. She got that letter and then she sent it out. I'm sorry, but I'm not. I don't doubt that she sent it out to all those emails herself.
Oh yeah, because of how it happened in the time of night and all of that. It's like an email spamming things. I'm gonna tell you something almost nobody knows. Cheshire tried to hire Salts for. Oh, really? Well, now everybody knows. You just put it in a YouTube stream, Negative. like Negative.
Exactly.
That's like an oxymoron there. I'm going to tell you something nobody knows. In a YouTube stream that's going out all over the place, and that Claire's not going to take down, because she don't take down her shit unless she feels really strong about it. So I'm not editing the chat out of this, Negative. You just told everybody. I don't know if that's true or not, but so what? If it is, so what? I would love to read some more Salt Snark. I don't think I'm not happy with some things he did. I'll be honest. But when it comes to writing briefs, that was some of the best chuckles I had over coffee in a long, long time.
He was sassy.
Yeah. He was sassy. I loved reading that stuff. I loved reading it. I did. I don't know about him as a lawyer or an ethical person or whatever else they're saying. I just know the man can write a brief, and I was all for it. So, damn, why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she? No, I know you have anything you find out, you have no duty. I'm just saying the way you worded it was pretty funny. I'm making fun of how you worded it, Negative, not what you're doing. It struck my funny bone. Come on, you could see the humor in it, right? You could see the humor in it. Yes, I know, John. I mean, come on, I'm not being silly here. I'm not picking on him. It's funny. It's, just out here naked. Thinking it's funny.
Another thing about those emails, they were misspelled. There were a couple of misspellings in there.
Oh yeah,
I just got the biggest laugh out of that and said,
well, what do you
look at this thing?
Well, you get what you pay for. Her own lawyer in the last lawsuit spelled her name wrong a couple of times. That was kind of funny.
I saw that too.
But it happens. It happens.
I was going to say, even in this day and age, I can't spell the word. Reach over, grab the phone. Google, how do I spell this? Oh, there it is. Not a problem. Job's done. It's not like you even have to look it up. You don't have to choose out of a list of 10 words on your spell check or something like that. You just get Google to tell you what it is.
Yep. Oh, what was that? Are you okay? Oh, was it? It did sound like it sounded like the Tetris landed. Did anybody call it Tetris? Did somebody call one through? I don't know. But if it's us, maybe I will get out of this country for a while. Wouldn't that be nice? It's like I keep saying, I do.
Come live in my guest house. It's empty right now.
That's not a bad idea, but it's very tropical there, right? I'm not good with the heat. That is the only thing that would keep me from visiting you, Suzanne. I don't do well in the heat at all, Well,
I run my AC, but I'm pretty much impervious to the heat. I grew up in South Louisiana, so heat and I are very familiar with each other. But I know what you're saying.
Yep. And it's like, I know. It's just, right now it's cooler here on the East Coast. It's supposed to be cooler, but the other day it was like 70. Like it doesn't want to make up its mind, And this is what happens like often here is the fall will start and you'll get some cool days and you get all ready for it. You get your blankets out, you get your long sleeve clothes, you know, you get everything ready. And then it goes to 75 like every other day, sometimes 80, you know, whatever, just to throw you off. Like, so you have to turn the heat back off and maybe turn the air on. And it's like hello, welcome, my favorite unicorn. Welcome. Nice to see you here. You're coming in late. I wish you were here earlier. It would have been nice. You know you have an open invitation anytime, my friend. Well, come on board for... We had an interesting conversation today. I hope you watched the replay. You might get some laughs. I think so. What do you think, Peter? Maybe a little bit? A little bit of humor we had tonight?
I reckon Golden or Unicorn made a really good point there. Why would Chesh in Canada hire a US lawyer?
I don't think she would, and you know, but I'm not gonna whatever negative things he knows. Who am I to argue again? And you know my role. Don't I have a role here on Mayhem? Everybody gets to show their ugly ass. Just don't deny it later, because I hate deleting it. You know, it's staying there. Yeah, sorry about that. We're going to show. No, that's okay. It sounded like the Tetris. Are we going someplace special? Can we go to England for a little while? I heard the weather's nice over there right now.
Yeah, Doctor Who, yeah.
Oh, the TARDIS, not the... Oh, that's it. I'm saying it wrong.
Kind of like TARDIS, but it's Doctor Who theme tune. That's my ringtone. That's my mum phone, so that's why I'm muted.
Welcome, Hogschool. Where you been all night? I started early for the UKs. It would be nice. Well, now since everybody's here, right, and we're getting ready like soon to wrap up. Can you believe, Peter, we went past 2 hours already, and you didn't even push a button on me. You didn't throw me off screen or nothing. Cool. I think you might have been enjoying the conversation.
Normal time things. I'm sorry I sidetracked myself, but I had so much fun.
You know what? It was very hard to keep a straight face. We're talking about serious stuff, and you're down there rolling your eyes at me. You're sticking your tongue out with a blah 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 blah. Like, it's just like, I have to get that program. I was trying really hard to get back up.
It works really well. It does have a hand tracker, but I've got to figure out how to do it because it expects you to have a head-mounted display for hand tracking, and I'm wondering if there's some way I can work around that because there's an SDK for it. So.
But it was.
If we can figure it out, it'd be nice because having the hand tracking would be ideal. So, and then all we need is some avatars made.
I know I started at 4 a.m. for England instead of 5 a.m. Yeah, I know. I feel you. I'm going to move it to Fridays, though, if that helps. I don't know if it's really going to help. Maybe if you take a nap after work. Maybe if you take a nap after work, Jeff, and you can come up, or Hawks go, it would be good. You guys are always welcome. I love to see you here. You always have good things to say. But
we finally hit those 20 plus watching, and we're about to wind up. Yeah, like you said, Claire. That's
okay. They can come all in. It's not a problem for me. It's definitely.
Don't forget to do the like, and we got to outbalance those dislikes. Apparently, some people are just negative anti. Fucking like.
I still don't know what people would have disliked that has been said.
Hey, it's Trish.
Oh, what we said? No. I think they're taking exception to what Negative said about Chesh hiring a lawyer from the United States when she's Canadian. I think that there's some pushback that might not be true. And since they are her friends, they may know. And there's Chesh. She could just go ahead, Chesh. You could address it yourself because, I'm not going to. There, see? Well, and
I know we're going to wrap up. Do you want to get Chesh in to actually let people know?
If she wants to, she has a link. She knows where it is. Yeah.
You got a link, Chesh. Hop in and you can correct these people if they need correcting. Manya, don't worry about it. We've already addressed anything that Negative had to say. We're just being polite. We've already talked about showing only one side of the story. We already talked about selling bullshit in my chat. And we already talked about, that's nice you put that information out there. And I kind of laughed a little bit. Don't worry. The bear is not worried about it. I'm not taking it down. Let him show his ass, just like everybody else. They're entitled. And no offense, Negative, but I do think you were trying to sell a little bullshit at the end there, because they wouldn't be in here saying it's bullshit if it wasn't bullshit. Yeah.
So whatever you heard, go back to your source and check your facts, because unfortunately we want to, see more than that, and then just some like little rumor that you want to spread around in my chat, try to get it out there. I prefer you come with a little evidence. That's how we do things here.
Exactly.
Or we're going to say you didn't do it. I mean, you could say what you want, but we're going to say you had no evidence for it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny producing evidence and stuff. It's funny, a lot of these people that make claims about situations that occurred on or behind streams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to have trouble showing evidence of that, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And if your source is solid, that's great. Negative, then go ahead. But Chesh is entitled, since it's about her, to have a different opinion about that, and she's free to say just anything she wants in there too. Oh, and be careful, cause that bitch is wrenched. So be polite, please, because I don't interfere with anything my mods do. They act in their own best interest, and I'll deal with it later. Okay, so be polite, just like you were before. But people have a right to defend themselves. I'm going to let them do whatever they need to do. So, and John, now I want bacon too. God damn it! Why do you do this to me every stream?
Oh, you know what I have?
Yeah, bacon. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So obviously it was 2:00 when you started for me, like 2 p.m. for me. So I thought, doing the responsible father thing, I better make sure that there was food for a certain young person that may come and interrupt me in the middle of the stream doing the whole "Daddy, I'm hungry" thing. So I might have cooked another ham and pineapple pizza with extra cheese.
Oh, damn. Peter, why do you do it? You're so damn far away, and you got the nerve to be naked with me every week, talk about all my favorite sexy foods, and then be a reasonable man, the mayhem man, and then end it with bacon on the pineapple. Oh my God.
I put bacon.
Oh, the pie!
No, I want pizza. Do you have to do that?
I want
pizza.
pizza.
You want to know the best thing?
Or make it.
What? Say that again, Suzanne.
I said, no, I want pizza, and it's too damn late to make it or eat
I know. Tomorrow we're all going to be on Twitter showing our makeshift pizzas that we make in the middle of the night. Like God knows what they're going to turn like, because you're all getting. But that's my go-to sexy food. Like when I feel good, like that's it. And you just, oh my God, John, you're right. Bacon, I know bacon's awesome. I can't help it. Like I could never. I do eat a lot of vegetarian food, and I'm pro. Like anybody who wants to be a vegetarian or a vegan, I'm all for it. I'll eat it all. Like I eat beet burgers and kale salad. Like that's my jam. I like it. But bacon, I cannot be a vegetarian because of bacon. Bacon is it. Like bacon keeps me from going that way. I have to have bacon, and really good bacon, thick bacon.
Good bacon, yeah.
Yeah, that good, no nitrate, thick sliced bacon. John, have you tried candy in the bacon yet, so it's not soggy when you put it on ice cream? You got to try that. I'm not lying, John. I know my sweet, my salty, my umami. Like you got to try it. Yeah.
Crystal, I might marry you.
And a fifth of tequila. Well, girl, we could hang.
That works for me.
How do we get talking about food?
I don't know, but you're all welcome. I've got this huge king size bed. We could all sit here, eat pizza, drink tequila, and just laugh our asses off. It'd be
I love tequila shots.
We don't need to do the first two to do the third. You know that, don't you?
I know. Now, Mrs. Cassandra, I'm glad to see you back. We're getting ready to wrap up, so you can come in or not. It's up to you. Well, I'm glad to see that the chat hasn't murdered anybody. This is good. It's a good night. Look at like 25 and no deaths. There was no blood, right? Josh, just tell me. I know I was cranky, Josh.
I'll hose the room out later. It's all good.
Would you? Because like they did think I was a little hot under the collar and I wanted blood or something like that. I said, I don't want blood. I just want some honesty, some integrity. Like somebody show me some moral fortitude for a change. That would be nice. But I was looking in the wrong place. I mean, I was on Twitter. What did I expect? Really, what did I expect? But, Okay, good, negative. I'm glad. I'm glad that you all, because everybody's a grown up here, you know. I don't want to. John wants to murder you. Why? No, don't say that, Josh. No murder, please. These are all my friends. I considered everybody here like good peoples. I don't think anybody's trying to do anything awful. Maybe misguided, but not awful. Well, please don't murder him, John. I don't know what. I pretty much only use the stove for mac and cheese, heating frozen pizzas. I can't imagine trying to make candy bacon. You can make it in the microwave. It actually works really well if you have something to cover the dish, because then it actually just shrivels right into the bacon itself and makes it harder faster. So you put the brown sugar on the bacon, just cover it with it and put it in something that it won't splatter all over your microwave, and do it that way. It's good. It's good.
It is. I had half a roast pork in the fridge.
That sounds like a good snack. You can make a pizza with that too.
Yeah.
What can you not make out of pizza? Like, I mean,
pineapple.
No, pineapple pizza is the bomb.
I know I'm amazing here. Everybody loves pineapple here except me.
Suzanne joined the pineapple pizza squad. Yes.
I've been eating that way for years. I love it.
Okay, you're just a little outvoted tonight, Jen, which is unusual because usually there's more people up here supporting you, But
I know, but that's how it goes with this pineapple on pizza thing. There are lots of people who do and don't like it, and
I know there is. We could. I know you want to scientifically prove it doesn't belong, but but it's not going to happen because I've got Unami on my side. I can prove Unami, and Unami rules. So I could prove that. And plus, we already had a debate on Jay's channel. He did a debate. Pineapple Pizza won. I've done umpteen polls in the chat here, on the back, on Twitter. Pineapple Pizza always wins. Even over on Aaron's stream, we do it in the chat. There are people that hate it. There are some people I respect dearly that are in the chat right now that hate the pineapple. But we're still friends. But the poll, it always comes out pineapple on top.
So, Claire, I'd just like to point this out, right? So, every single pizza shop that I've ever been to has a pizza with pineapple on it. Now, as a pizza shop could be classed as the experts on pizzas, why would the experts put pineapple on pizzas if it's not belonging on there?
That's right. Why do they sell it in the pizza?
They make money from stupid people who happen to like pineapple on.
Oh, did you just call us stupid? Oh, you did not just call us pineapple pizza lovers stupid. You did not. You see, that just proved. You know what, Jen? You just proved you don't have a real argument. You got personal. You got foul. You don't even have an argument now. I can't debate you. You'll be calling me stupid. Oh my God. Can you believe this? She actually called us all stupid. I'm going to call the whole squad on you now. This is ridiculous.
I'm done now. I'm cancelled. I'm so cancelled.
Yeah, good. You're canceled from Mayhem. I'm going to put you on probation. Peter, we have to set up. We have to get together with everybody and set up probationary rules for the panels that get out of crazy like that.
I've got a better idea. We're just going to have an intervention. Have an intervention for Jen.
And make her eat pineapple pizza like we did Grumpy. Yeah, we did. We got Ed to eat it, because he lost the bet. We'll just see. Okay, so if I go to them now and I tell them, listen, Jen called me stupid on stream. We really got to do something about that. And please,
is that the consequence? Is that the consequence if I lose the debate that I have to eat a pineapple pizza live on Six Pack?
Well, what would my consequence be then?
Oh, you'd have to eat a pizza without pineapple on it.
Jeez, gosh, that's not a consequence. I do that every day. That's fine. Okay, I take that. That's good. That's good for me. Go ahead, Sugan.
I was just going to say, it could be worse. You could be being forced to have iguana soup. I didn't know about that delicacy until about 6 months ago when our pool guys caught one of the 5-foot iguanas in the yard. And they asked me for the machete and some rope and some stuff. And I was thinking they were just going to haul him away. Mm-hmm. And we handed him right in the yard and said, oh, no, we're making soup. And then the next day,
Man. Oh, okay, that's
Nasty.
great.
Pineapple pizza doesn't sound too bad now.
Yeah, you know what?
No,
And
I
that,
know. My husband
yeah.
ate some. He said it wasn't too bad, but I couldn't even smell it. It was just like, oh no, get that iguana soup away.
Oh, so we have more people in the chat just coming in right now just to sing the praises of Pineapple Jen. You have started. You have started a riot. You have started a real movement here. Yes. All right. Chess, you're going back to bed? I'm sorry we got you up. It's like, wait, all right, I'm going back to bed. I thought something that was actually serious that mattered was happening. Turns out it's just Meg. Chess, did you not just dish my whole stream? Girl, we're going to talk. I know kind of what you meant, but that's funny as fuck what you just did. Thank you so much. My God. Yeah. Way to give me PR, girl. Nobody's going to come now. It's like, oh, Brilliant. Yes, pineapple pizza is best, especially when you get to watch it in a foreign country in sunset. This is what I've heard. But it's good. Everybody's coming.
I think me and Vrian are going to have to sort something out to expedite this whole situation that he's been talking about, Claire.
Which situation would that be, Peter?
Well, as you know, it's almost time for you to have a holiday, I think. But anyway.
It is almost time for me to have a holiday, and boy, would I love to have a holiday out of the United States, just to be away from all of these bullshit for a little while. I would. But, yeah. Are you talking about the pineapple pizzas and relocating and living in somebody's basement in, like, Australia?
I don't have a basement, sorry.
No, but I think Davros is digging me one, and sometimes I get offered plane tickets. Yeah, this is what I heard. I figure if enough of you Australians get together and just work together, I'll be out of here in no time. I mean,
if when you get off the plane, if Davros comes up to you and asks you if this hanky smells funny, just walk the other way.
I have no idea what you just said, but the whole premise of it was hysterical. But I have no idea what that means. The first part, what that is. What hacky? What did you say?
Like a handkerchief.
Oh, you mean like chloroform to knock? Oh, yeah. Put the lotion in the bed. I did. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna be like put the lotion in the basket kind of situation. I want to be. Oh boy, down in the well. There we go. Oh, I hope not. I don't think he's like that, but I never ever expect when I look at pictures of serial killers that they're like that. Do you ever, like, when you see the pictures? I look at them going, they don't look like a serial killer. Like, I don't see crazy.
Oh, he's not. He's definitely not.
No, he's not. So I don't think he's going to chloroform me.
But still the lotion goes in the basket. That's.
I still be careful any drinks he buys you, though, Claire.
Now stop. He's a good guy. Don't start that stuff. Next thing you know, there's going to be all kinds of rumors tomorrow all over the place that we'll be fighting off all that stuff.
Absolutely, there will be.
It will be. Now you.
There'll be this big one about
caps of the whole thing.
Claire hate each other now, and Jen thinks Claire's stupid.
Yeah, I know, but this is it. It's usually a Mayhem stream, and all the shit we talk about and stuff is somebody take one little thing and turn it into a whole bunch of other stuff. But yeah, but that's good. But I wouldn't mind visiting other countries for sure, especially those great people who offered me pineapple pizza when I get there. Like, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Why visit me? Because I'll give you pineapple pizza. I just won't eat any of it.
Yeah, you just be vomiting in front of me while I eat it. I don't think that would be good.
My brother eats pineapple on pizza all the time.
Don't try to backtrack now after you always called me stupid. Like, I'm going to be offended for at least until the end of the stream. Actually, I'm laughing about it, but yeah, it is. Oh my gosh, it's too funny. But I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, now you got, like, I see so many people I want to keep talking to, but I
brain dead. I'm gonna have to ditch. I
Yeah,
gotta get to bed.
I hear you. It's late for you too, Suzanne. So thank you so much for finally joining us for one of these. And
Oh yeah.
hopefully you'll
Thank
be
you.
you will be back again. I'm sure you'll see you
I'm sure I
around
will.
YouTube and stuff.
It was
But
great to meet you.
it was she's a card. She's salty, right, Suzanne? Salty.
Sometimes I'm
Are you
salty.
going to drop negative exponents comment, Claire?
I'm taking it off. What?
Yep, that one. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't even realize it was up there, but yeah, they should have to explain it. They did, actually, or they tried. I don't know, but it got dealt with. At least everybody knows. So
Everybody knows now. Yep. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go. It was a lot
Okay.
of fun. Bye to the chat, everybody.
yep.
Bye,
Say goodbye to
Suzanne.
Suzanne. We'll see you again soon. Thank you for joining us, Suzanne.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night. Okay.
I can get out.
Yep. You want me to drop you so you can? Okay. There you go. Yeah. I don't know. Oh, what kind of trouble are you causing in the chat, Josh, that you're worried about there? So what trouble can I cause? I don't know. Whatever he wants. I don't know. What? It's like, I don't know. What should we do now, my friends? I'm thinking it's outro time, but
I'm thinking it's outro time.
I'm thinking it's outro time. I would just like to thank all of you who hung in there from the start, those of you that came in the middle, those of you that came at the end, that are willing to talk about stuff and go back and forth and chat and let us be the fools that we are up here naked. You what? You what? What?
To be honest, I came multiple times.
Oh, Jen! No wonder you were so quiet. Was it the damn avatar? Because damn, I'm gonna go buy that. I will buy a new laptop. Because just talking about animated avatars got me going last time. Like I went off for like it. Damn. If that's how good that animated avatar program is, I'm just gonna have to go buy a new laptop because this one won't handle it. But I'm on a mission now. I'm just. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe that the crew can come and get me for fraud on. That maybe I buy the wrong laptop or I didn't advertise it by digit what it should be. Or what do you think? I don't know. I know I'm being a little too nasty tonight. I gotta be nicer. No, the fuck I don't. It's my channel. But anyway, yeah. No, they put it out there. They do it. I mean, I'm just. Jen, I'm gonna put us on outro now, so I can go join Jen in Happyville over there. I'm gonna go make myself happy somewhere. I'm gonna raid the. Well, it's your camera, Peter. You make it do whatever you want. No, there's a room. There's a room. No.
We have a room here.
Oh my god. On that note, yeah, we're all perverted. We're all just like talking shit.
Hey, I'm wondering once you got the hand animations going and we've actually got naked avatars, if we'll be able to rub our own tits.
Whoa.
And that's a top 10 to stream on.
You don't want me to sleep tonight, do you? I'm going to be up thinking about this stuff now. How am I going to get this programmed? How am I going
to... So, Jen, do you just stop at your boobs?
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, you can't see lower down, so you wouldn't know. So.
Oh, wait, I got to answer this. I have to find out. Virillion, which Discord? Can you type it for me? Because, are we friends? Because if we are, I'll look you up on, yeah. Do you do screen time? Maybe you'd like to come do an AITA. I get you in my Discord. It'd be easier to share pineapple pizza. Okay, that's all the flirting I'm doing for now. I'm going to put the outro on.
Hi.
Okay. All right, there you go. So, Peter, Jen, on the outro. See you in the chat for a minute.
Friday night next week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And this weekend, I don't know what's going on. We may premiere Lucy Lictopotopus for those of you that helped me read it through a couple of times. I did?
Yeah.
What? It's Lickalotopus. It's Lucy Lickalot. This is why I haven't recorded it yet. I can't even say it.
Lucy Lickalotopus.
Lucy Licked a Lot of Puss. That's the name of the book. I'm working on a Naughty Bear read. We'll see if we get it out this weekend. If not, I've got Monday. I've got coming up legal updates. There's a poll on the back of my community channel. Please go vote. If you take a moment, give me a little of your time. I want to do what's best for you guys that like to talk about this stuff, because discussion on the legal cases is part of the fun. So I'm trying to find the best time. It's currently scheduled for 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow, Steve McRae has a Peacemaker stream, which I will link later down here for you, and that's what caused this whole conversation tonight about people trying to come at me on Twitter. But it's going to bring some people together that is talking about communication and how people just don't talk about the issues and stuff like that. So that'll be going on this weekend. Do you have anything else going on, Jen, for the weekend?
Not this
Nope.
one, but I should have a night stream out during the week, so that should be fun.
I don't know of anything from Erin, or I would tell you guys, but that's the only stream I do know about for right now. But look for, now the weekends are free. Erin started streaming during the day sometimes, so she might pop on a stream, or we can check for notifications for Jen. Peter doesn't have a channel. We'll see him somewhere in the chat.
I'll be a
He'll
big
be around.
Twitter or something somewhere.
Next Friday, instead of Saturday, people, it's not going to be Saturday Mayhem anymore. It's going to be Friday. It's going to be 11 o'clock, and it follows Jen's Tits Out stream over on her channel, Polymathic. Yep.
So don't forget to join us there, because we'll be getting all warmed up for midnight.
Yeah. And we need to be warmed up. The temperature is colder, and we're like naked over there. So, like,
Not for Peter and I. We're hot all the time.
yeah,
Why is
but
it better
are you really? Have you met me? You guys are referring that the bear is cold. I take obsession. I take obsession. I'm objecting loudly to that and putting you guys out in the chat with the outro, because that was just, the bear is not cold. I mean, it's chilly, but the bear's not cold. No. Freaky Friday, John. See you there. All right, guys. Thank you, Peter, for hanging out so long. Thank you, Jen, for hanging out so long. And we'll see you guys in other places and next week. Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.